Is that what it is?
Yeah, I just clicked record there. So, yeah. Very good, very good.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, so if people are listening, yeah, Billy was just ranting about him trying to squeeze them out with some of our past guests and my friendships with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
You never denied it. You never denied it.
No comment. So yeah, if you're listening, welcome back to Just Because Wrestling. We've took a bit of a sabbatical in the last
summer
3
summer
weeks.
Vacation.
Yeah, schools have a summer.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're back with a special episode, and a special episode. Why, Billy?
Because we're together again.
Okay, don't make it sound weird.
No, it's a special episode because we're doing a watch long. Yeah, is that why? Is that what you wanted?
No. The specialty of the episode was that this is the first episode we've done in person.
Yeah,
in
about a year probably.
A year, I think SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Before SummerSlam was it
was definitely
our last
yeah.
one.
Because yeah. Look, I was looking back on old episodes there yesterday, trying to figure out when the last one was, and yeah, I mean like all through like the autumn and the winter. Anyway, we were at home, so it must have been fairly close to the summer anyway. But yeah, it's coming up on a year anyway since the last one, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's mad. Like the whole Roman Reigns era, the heavy metal era has been spent us in lockdown, and you know, like you think back to the stuff that's gone on since August. We're here now in July. You're talking a year. Yeah, you're talking nearly a year since we've sat in a room.
Kenny Omega's world champion.
Yeah, like, and we've obviously done a lot of episodes, you know, in between then, and a lot of we've started doing interviews, you know, in that time, and we've had some great experiences in interviewing people and you know, interviewing some great wrestlers and some great personalities in the industry. And you know, like, what's mad about it is in all that time we never actually together have sat down in a room and spoke about wrestling.
Yeah.
In all that time, and it's incredible. My phone is ringing.
Yeah.
Great start to this.
We love this.
I have to take this.
Yeah, you answer that. Yeah, so we're back once again with the ill behaviour, and we're it's crazy. It's mental to think that, like, you know, we've spent nearly a year at home communicating via Skype and via Zoom and other kind of communication platforms, you know, trying to kind of maintain this podcast, but it's been difficult. But it's also like Jack said there, it brought about kind of new opportunities in the sense that we were able to kind of branch out and have some interviews and contact these people out of this kind of thing to you know, try and bring something fresh. And you know, seeing as we were communicating over, you know, remotely anyway, we were like, you know, we might as well reach out to people and see if they want to do it too. And you know, we've had a host of people come on, and they've all been great. They've all been fantastic. You can go back and listen to all of them anyway on our Spotify and on wherever you get your podcasts. And don't worry, that won't stop. If you've enjoyed the episodes where we talk to people and we get other people's perspectives on things and our interviews, they will continue with some old faces and some new. We're working now at the moment trying to get people on at the moment for the coming weeks. And like I said, we've taken kind of a break. You know, things kind of slowed down there a bit. We both finished our studies in college and stuff, and we both took, you know, vacations and you know, we've been kind of recharging the batteries a little and kind of just getting ready for a big summer ahead. Obviously, there's a lot of things to look forward to. The return of fans is starting to happen. Like, last night we had our first AEW show outside of Jacksonville in a long time. It was in Miami last night, Road Rager, they had a crowd there. We're getting crowds back in WWE now. We're getting crowds are slowly but surely starting to return. You know, here in Ireland, OTT is returning soon. And things are starting to kind of resemble some form of normality. And yeah, we're just trying to keep it going. And now look, speaking of normality, we're back together again. I say that as while Jack's out of the room. He's not actually here right now. He left there to take a very important phone call. But yeah, so yeah, we're excited. We're looking forward to what comes next, and we're looking forward to, you know, the future, because, you know, it's been a strange year. It's been a strange year. It's given us kind of a lot of ideas and a lot of, you know, a lot of perspective to kind of think back on, you know, what we've done correctly and incorrectly, what we can do in the future, and it's kind of opened our eyes a bit. You know, we kind of not that we boxed ourselves in, but we kind of underestimated ourselves a little bit, I think, with some stuff on the show. And, you know, I suppose we put off bringing guests on the show for a long time, because we were we weren't sure how people would react if we asked them, if they would react at all. And like, that happens too. You know, we've contacted plenty of people who haven't responded to us, and that's fine. We don't expect, we're obviously asking people to come on, you know, just as out of their interests. Like, everyone we ask, we want to have on. But, you know, we understand that people, like, a lot of the people that we ask are extremely busy. They have careers and they're, you know, very hectic schedules. But yeah, no, it's surprised us. You know, we were actually quite surprised by you know, who's responded and who's come on, and talking to them. You know, I'd say face to face, but over a computer screen, over a camera. And yeah, it's been incredible. It's been a weird experience. It's crazy when you think about, like, the pandemic and COVID as a whole. Oh, here he comes. Is he coming? The door handle moved. Yeah, I don't know. He might be there. But you think of the pandemic as a whole, it's created a lot of things in wrestling that probably wouldn't have happened otherwise. You know what I mean? You look back over the last year and last year and a half now at this stage, and so much has happened that wouldn't have happened otherwise because of the pandemic. You know, Roman Reigns probably would have never turned heel, I believe. What else? You know, like, you think about all the things that have happened that, you know, if they happened in front of a crowd, you know, how would that have been, and all this stuff, like, you know what I mean? And all the cinematic matches, you know what I mean? Undertaker calling it a day, would that have happened if there was still a crowd there? You know, I don't know. It's weird. It's strange. And it's weird to speculate about what will happen next going forward, because, you know, like I said, I said that it seems we're returning to normality a bit, but, like, I don't know, are we? You know what I mean? Like, will anything ever be normal again? I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. But it'll COVID has had an everlasting impact on wrestling and on life as a whole. So, oh, here he comes. There he is.
I had images of you, like, Jersey, when you those, like, the American TV shows when they're doing, like, some talent contests and they're like, just stall, and they're just going out there like,
I've just been rambling on about COVID and how like that's affected us as a podcast and how it's kind of forced us to adapt and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, I was saying that, like, you know, because of COVID, that's the whole reason that we've probably brought people on as guests, and now that won't change going forward. Like, we are working on getting people on, both past and present, or past and present.
I think what we need to figure, like what we still have to figure out as a podcast going forward, is hold on. There.
Okay, bye, Jack. And he's gone again. Now I have to stall again. Craziness. Yeah. What else would you expect from our first day back as as in-face podcast? Yeah, craziness. Crazy stuff here. Wait now, I think he's coming back. He's coming back. Here he comes. 3, 2, 1. Re-enters the room. There he is. Craziness. The hectic. It's crazy up in here.
But yeah, as I was saying, I think like what we need to figure out now going forward as a podcast, because you're right. The only reason we started bringing guests on was like
because we were communicating remotely anyway, so we figured
because before COVID we always kind of talked about it, and we said we just were like, would it be weird doing it over Zoom or not Zoom, it's like Skype or
FaceTime or something.
Weird, and then we had enough time to do it ourselves to get used to it that we were like, what are we waiting for now? So we ended up and we started with Butch Armstrong, great interview. Then from the interview we landed somehow, I still don't know,
Mike Bailey,
Speedball Mike Bailey, and he was great, brilliant to deal with. And like when you look at it, I was watching recently Heatwave 99 ECW Heatwave 99 or whatever, and Justin Credible was in the ring, and I was like, we interviewed it, that is,
we were 1 year old.
and we had the opportunity to interview him, and
we were talking.
It's been phenomenal. It's
mad,
and
we've talked to some great, everyone. I think everyone we've spoken to has been great, and they've offered something unique. Everyone who's come on has offered something unique, and
as we said, what I was getting at was, I think going forward we need to figure out, how. And we will change and adapt as we're able to get together now. How we do it in terms of, will we go back to doing remote 3 of us when we're doing interviews, or will it be 2 of us together on remote or whatever? And we still haven't figured that out. But we're working on guests at the moment, and we have a couple in the pipeline, a couple that we need to work out. And we have an idea of some of the people who we want to try and get, and we've talked to some people, some I won't name names obviously because you don't want to jinx anything. But
some big ones though, some exciting ones I think.
Some exciting ones, some unique ones, some ones that people that don't do many interviews or haven't done many interviews, and that's what I think. That's what excites me more, is that grand, and we've done some fantastic interviews, but there's been certain people we've interviewed that interview all the time, and you're conscious then of doing you're conscious of keeping it fresh, not asking them the same fucking questions they get asked in every fucking podcast, you know what I mean? So it's trying to keep things fresh, trying to keep things moving and exciting for our guests, not let alone us or the people listening. So it's been an interesting one. We had LJ Cleary on last, and he was
he was great. As you were speaking, we just confirmed our next one.
Did we?
Yeah.
Do we? We won't reveal it.
Yeah, we won't say anything yet. But it's a good one. It's one that.
What I will, and I'll drop a teaser here. Is he will be, if it does happen, he'll be our first return guest. So it'll be our first.
He's a guy that we had to have back on. We had to have back on because he was
to me. And there's no point even us talking about it now because we're not saying who it is now. So I don't want to be praising him when people not knowing who he is. I want to give him the credit once we have it confirmed or whatever. But to me, it was one of my favourite interviews we've done, and I'm excited to have him back.
Me too.
But without further ado,
stay tuned for that next week.
I don't know if you've told when I was on my little
Excursion.
Or my little excursion. I don't know if you told our lovely audience what we're
I didn't.
about to do.
I said I'd wait for you to come back.
Okay, so since we're together again, since we're back in the same room, we decided let's do something we haven't done in a long time, and it's something you really couldn't do until we got together.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
And it's a watch along.
Yeah.
So we are going to watch. We racked our brains for 30 seconds and said,
the steam coming out of our ears and everything. We thought so hard about this.
Yeah. So we're gonna watch along Money in the Bank 2013, because of course the Money in the Bank pay-per-view is
next week.
Is next week.
Next week, yeah, and Sunday week.
We talked about maybe we'll do some Money in the Bank. Which one will we do? 2011 is obviously the obvious one, but we've
done that multiple times.
So we said we'd be obscure, racked our brains, and we had a lot of kind of good memories from the 2013 Money in the Bank. So we said, why not?
Yeah, we give it a go.
So for us lucky European fans, you get up your WWE network if you want to watch it on.
If you're in the States,
I'm sorry,
get up your Peacock. Get up your Peacock.
Sounds like some Kanye West album. But,
yeah, that's what it sounds like. Yeah. Filthy.
No, he's all Jesus now, isn't he?
Yeah. But
so let's have some fun.
It just sounds like an innuendo. Yeah, so let's watch Money in the Bank 2013.
So we're
hopefully there'll be some nice surprise. We have an idea of what's on the card. We know some of what's on the card, but hopefully there'll be some nice surprises on this that we won't remember.
Yeah, I know. You probably can't even hear me from
yeah. No, you can hear it, I think.
So yeah, like the so the ad is coming on.
We have to mute it though for copyright reasons.
Yeah, as if little old Vince now cares what we're doing.
Yeah.
I'm hoping now this is going to work in terms of buffering and all that, because it's already started buffering.
Yeah. Oh, we're back.
Have it?
Yeah, so let's hope it doesn't buffer. Here we go, yeah.
We can let it down now.
Yeah, that's alright. That's plenty.
So here we go. This is 2013. We're coming off the cusp of one of the greatest segments in Raw history, in my opinion.
Yeah.
In the salmon jacket.
The salmon jacket segment. Yeah. Mark Henry's fake retirement.
Incredible.
Yeah, one of the best segments in Raw history.
And if you can recall, this was leading into the 2013 Money in the Bank was leading into they did an all-star Money in the Bank, so it was all former
world champions.
Former world champions,
yeah.
And it featured the return of one Rob Van Dam.
Yeah.
CM Punk had just returned.
He returned the payback, which was in Chicago. Yeah, Jericho. Yeah. It was his first match back after the Undertaker match at Mania.
That was the famous story where he was supposed to return at SummerSlam, and Vince called him because he was getting surgery.
Yeah.
And Vince was like, "Hey pal,
you want to do me a favor?"
He was like, "The boys are low in Chicago. We need you in."
Yeah. But yeah, because this was the thing. We had Raw and SmackDown, and it was kind of it was a mixed. It was a weird brand split. It wasn't exactly, separate brands.
Yeah,
but
is this the era where there's two Money in the Bank?
There's two. There's one for the World Heavyweight title and one for the WWE title.
Is this the one where Sandow wins it?
I think so, yeah.
Where Cody should have won it.
Yeah. Because that was the thing. The whole thing was Raw were running the All-Star Money in the Bank with former world champions, and I think was it Teddy Long was the SmackDown manager. I think
it's a good guess.
It's a good guess.
Teddy Long.
Yeah, it could have been. It probably was. He said, "Oh, I want to give someone a new opportunity." Oh, this might have been John Laurinaitis' era where he was in charge of everything. But he wanted to give someone on the SmackDown side of things a new opportunity. So it was all people who had never been or never been in a Money in the Bank ladder match.
Obviously, it went well because look what happened to Damien Sandow afterwards.
But
the heights he hit.
It's probably, in my opinion, the worst cash-in of all time.
Yeah.
Sandow's. It's up there.
Him
anyway.
or Corbin's.
Him or
Corbin's is worse.
Corbin's might be worse. Did you ever remember why Corbin's went the way it did?
No.
Like, supposedly, if like it was a revenge thing that like he pissed someone off backstage. I can't remember what he did though. He said he did something dumb anyway, and that was the revenge. Like he lost his money in the bank in 10 seconds the week before SummerSlam.
You just see here, and if you're watching along with us, like there's still an element of a unique set.
Yeah.
Like, you see the ladders. Can we pinpoint when that ended? Like,
probably the network era, because if you look, you can even see Joe that the old WWE symbol is on the screen now.
Yeah.
The one from the last.
It was a scratch logo. It was the one from.
The hell, Fandango just got a jobber entrance. I'm sure he's in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Yeah, it is. And so did Dibble.
Ambro's got a jobber entrance.
Oh wait, no, this is a singles match. No, it's not. It's not, because he's still in Shield gear. That's kind of bad. That's sad, isn't it?
So this isn't the Money in the Bank ladder match, is it?
I'm not sure.
It is.
It is.
They started the pay-per-view and gave Dean Ambrose
and Fandango
a jobber entrance.
Dean Ambrose.
And Fandango, but like you're talking about one of the biggest superstars in wrestling.
Yeah, but even at the time, 1/3 of the Shield.
Yeah.
And the United States champion.
Now, it's so weird to see where these people all ended up.
Yeah.
Like you're talking Swagger's coming out.
And Cesaro. The real Americans.
You're talking Moxley and Hager and Fandango, who's
just
released. And Zed Coulter, Mr. Dutch Mantel.
Yeah. Probably one of the most underrated managers of all time.
Yeah.
It's quite good. Like.
I think he's just underrated because he didn't have a much run in the WWE. He was more Bill Watts and more. I watched. Did you watch? OSW Review, shout out to them. They had their 100th episode recently.
Yeah.
And they left it down to the public as to what they'll review for the 100th episode.
Yeah.
And they reviewed the Heroes Wrestling pay-per-view. Now, have you ever heard of this pay-per-view?
No.
So, it's dubbed the worst wrestling pay-per-view of all time.
Really?
So, it was in 1999, the height
of
the Attitude Era. But it was all throwback people. So he was the commentary on it.
Yeah.
The main event was Yokozuna and Jake Roberts versus it was versus two jobbers.
Wasn't Yokozuna dead by 1999?
Tully Blanchard wrestled on the card. It was all 80s people.
Yeah.
But it's just notoriously bad because it's 1990 and Jake Roberts was
the height of his demons
but he was out of his mind when he came out. It was nearly Victory Road. He got the snake and put it by his dick and was pretending it was his dick or whatever. It was very, very strange. But he was the commentator on it, and he was in a big poncho, even though it was in the middle of the summer and it was 150 degrees.
And this is
That's two tag teams
that are in the match. This is as well where, because this thing, Sandow turns on Cody in this match.
But Sandow comes out as the face, no?
No, Cody turned face.
Does he?
Cody turns face, yeah. It's crazy when you look back at how good this gimmick was. The Damien Sandow gimmick of the intellectual savior of the unwashed masses.
Yeah.
Look, they're already teasing it.
Yeah.
So they must be in Philly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And again, we're wait, Barrett.
I was about to say, who the hell is playing that?
But again, we're talking about where people ended up. Cody is an executive vice president to a wrestling company right
Cody,
now.
one of the biggest wrestlers in the world.
Head commentator on NXT.
Yeah.
You're talking.
It's mental, isn't it? It's crazy you're looking back on.
This is it's not it's only 7 years ago. It's not as if this is really long time ago.
It's crazy when you look back at how many people have Cesaro, I think, is an excellent example. That fella has had a tumultuous run in the WWE. Like, he's had so many. Yeah, like, from coming in as, like, you know, rugby player Cesaro to Real Americans to The Bar to Heyman Kid to Heyman to fucking now, you know.
Yeah.
So
like he's been around for a long time. Here's
Fandangoing.
Yeah.
Fandango's a weird one too, because remember when he came out in when he came up to the main roster in 20. When did he wrestle Jericho at Mania?
It was the Mania before this. It was
2013. So,
but like, when you think about that's a huge
fall from grace, like.
It's huge, but it was a quick fall from grace too. But like, it was a huge win. And like, you know, for someone like Jericho, to ask him, you know, to lose to someone like Fandango,
and then to not do anything
with him, it's insulting. Like,
yeah. And what's crazy is, I remember Fandango being ridiculously over. I remember
after it, sure, the thing hit the charts.
That's what I'm saying. I remember being in the gym and hearing that, hearing people play it.
Yeah, like, and they just never did anything with it.
No, it's crazy.
He had that little shitty feud with Summer Rae and how he didn't want her to dance or whatever.
Was this? I don't remember. I don't remember a lot of Fandango's bloody run out.
Look at Cesaro here. Look at the way he just, like, Cody
is not a small guy.
Not a small guy. Like, he's one of these guys who's deceptively big.
Big, yeah.
Like,
I saw one. It was speaking of guys who are deceptively big. You know how like everyone goes to like who is a wrestler who you never realized was as big as they are, and it's Billy Gunn.
Billy Gunn, yeah.
Like it was a picture of like Billy Gunn standing next to like
he's the same height as Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, it's crazy. There was a picture. What was the picture? I have to find it, but it's if I can find it, I'll show it. Yeah, but it's crazy when you look, because it's a guy. He's standing up to a guy who we all know as a big person. Hold on now, let me see. Billy Gunn. Try and find that. Oh yeah, it's Billy Gunn standing up to Tanahashi. And look at that. Look at the size of him compared to Tanahashi.
Where's that?
I actually don't know. that's a good question. That's a good question. Yeah.
But like, you look at this now. Right?
This was an AEW World Championship match.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. But like, that's what I was about to say, right? Ambrose, one of the biggest stars in wrestling right now. You have Cody Rhodes, who's one of the biggest figures in wrestling in terms of like higher ups. You've Jake Hager, who's reinvented his career, and he could be fighting Fedor soon enough.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's an
interesting one.
It's crazy looking back. It's crazy how much happens. What's crazy is how fast wrestling moves. Like, so much happens in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
Like 7 years, and these guys, every single person in this match is in a completely different, except maybe Cesaro, because he's the only one I think still in the company.
Yeah, he is. Well, if you
in a wrestling perspective, like, yeah. But even at that, Cesaro at this point,
see, I don't like that. See what he did there?
Swiveled
it. Yeah. At least hide it from the camera.
But like even Cesaro here, like he's still mid-card tag team. Now he's a main event player. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's.
Well, now you hope he's a main event. Like he.
Yeah.
Like I hope they stick with him because he deserves it. He really does. You see that video of Mick Foley, and he's at Steve Austin's ranch. He's doing like a quick fire round thing. And he's like, he
did, yeah.
And he's like begging, and he's like,
yeah, I did, yeah.
And for him to get on his knees, because like it takes effort to get on his knees.
I saw that, yeah. It was like one word associations with wrestlers and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he didn't give. There was never any just one word once. It was like a couple of sentences for everyone. It was funny. It's like, of course.
Such a nice man, Mick.
Did you see the one? Kevin Nash is the next guest on board.
Yeah.
Did you see the thing that he did a similar thing with him? But it was he had 30 seconds to name his.
All the NWO.
Yeah, see how many he got. I didn't think he'd get that many at all.
I wouldn't have got that many.
I wouldn't have got that many either.
Yeah.
I would have never gotten Scott Norton. Like, do you know what I mean? But he left it
at
one
that point. Like, you just named out anyone who was in WCW.
Yeah, then you have a good chance.
Like.
What?
He was like, was Eddie in it? No.
See what he named? He never named Big Show. He never named the Giant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of it when I was watching it.
Which is a weird one considering he's the fourth guy.
Obvious, yeah.
But let's say he's not that obvious. He's, everyone remembers the third man. Everyone remembers Hogan being this big reveal as the leader and the third guy. No one remembers the guy who came after Hogan, and it just so happened to be the Giant, aka the Big Show, aka Paul White.
Shout out as well. It was the anniversary yesterday.
Of the NWO,
29 years.
25, I thought.
25.
25, yeah.
Since Hogan dropped the leg on Randy Savage.
Was it? I thought was it 25 years of the formation, was it?
That was the formation when he dropped the leg on Randy Savage.
Because I watched the video today when he spray painted the title for the first time. Here we go, God. Buffer.
Damn it.
Pause your feeds if you're watching. Oh no, we're good, we're back. Unpause.
We're at 13, 25, 26, 27.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh.
Stiff.
That was so good. So, is this the era where Rollins and Reigns are the tag champs?
Yeah.
Are they going to be on this card too? So
that was the thing with this pay-per-view as well. Do you remember? They were on the pre-show. They wrestled the Usos on the pre-show. It was the Usos versus the Shield on the pre-show, and everyone was like, "What the hell? Why the Shield? The Shield, probably the best act in WWE right now on the pre-show." And supposedly it was like, again, now one of these respect things that they wouldn't like shake hands with people backstage or something, and they got demoted to the pre-show. Like they were coming off now, just like they're in the middle of their like unbeaten run, and apparently that was why they it was like a respect thing. They got demoted to the pre-show for a pay-per-view. He's Antonio Cesaro here.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Big Tony.
Big Tony.
Big Town. Big Dick Tony.
We're not watching that shit. That's still the best video.
Look at Cody going for a muscle buster.
But that's still the best video I've seen.
Yeah.
Dude. We're not watching that shit. I just want to cheer. I just sat through an episode. We're on Instagram Live.
We want to watch Total Divas.
We're going to watch another episode of Total Divas. No, we're not watching that show.
I love Sheamus.
Oh, he's so funny.
Big bad. Is this pre Bad News Barrett or post Bad? No, it's pre, isn't it? Yeah.
Pre. Do you remember the story about how that came about?
No.
So it was actually Cody Rhodes' idea.
Oh really?
So it wasn't even really an idea. It was a rib. He said, or he used mock Wade Barrett about how old he looks.
Right.
He just looks like a weathered human. So he was like, I remember you used to wrestle on the cards when my dad wrestled, and you were Bad News Barrett. Because Bad News Barrett is gimmick from the 80s.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, yeah, you were Bad News Barrett. You used to wrestle you used to open the card when my dad was the NWA champion or whatever, and it just turned into a gimmick.
Yeah. That's cool though. Because the Bad News gimmick was actually quite good.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news for you. It's still a catchphrase, yeah.
And it's another gimmick. It's like a cult hero type gimmick.
Yeah.
Never really went anywhere. But people, if he came out today with the gavel and the thing, people would freak out.
I never understood this.
The logic, yeah.
The bull hammer.
Okay, let me
turn it inside out.
Briefcase, but I have to do it.
Otherwise it won't work.
Yeah. Otherwise my powers.
I remember this match as well. Everyone was kind of like, no one was really sure who was going to win. Because you could have made an argument for kind of, maybe not the real Americans. Maybe
I thought Cody was going to win.
I thought Cody was going to win it too. Cody seemed like the most likely, but you could have made an argument for anyone. I wonder if Fandango and Breeze will stay a team now that they're both gone.
I hope so.
Yeah, I do too.
People forget when the brand split happened. They were really entertaining with the fashion files and stuff.
They produced one of the best comedy matches of the last 10 years, maybe.
Which one? The one with the suntan and
against the Usos
at trapping sunbed.
I don't know whether they're trapping sunbed, but remember they came out like as janitor.
Oh yeah.
I remember that one as well. That one was hilarious. It's really hard to be funny in WWE and not be and not be cringy. And
Sandow did it very well as well.
As Mizdow, he was quite good at it. And then
like the Macho Mando, whatever it was.
It had legs to it until Hogan ruined it. Yeah. This is when that was when Dirty Deeds was that. Do you remember that? This was.
Do you still call that Dirty Deeds?
Yeah, that was Dirty Deeds until.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because he beat Kofi for the title, for the US title, and he uses that to beat him. And then I don't know why he changed it. I think someone else uses it as finisher, but they changed to the underhook thing. Maybe remember this was in the build up to. Oh no, it wasn't the build up. I was going to say remember there was rumors of a Dean Ambrose Mick Foley match at SummerSlam, but I think that was a SummerSlam before. That was 2012.
That was pre-Shield.
Yeah, so
it wasn't rumors. They were built.
Yeah. Then Mick couldn't get cleared, wasn't it?
Yeah. But did you ever hear Mick's story about that?
No,
he couldn't get cleared and all that, but he. That's cool.
Yeah.
The lift to the ladder. But look, Dean Ambrose is so good, man.
That's great, but that takes some strength
from athleticism.
From the two real Americans, though.
Like, and from them, yeah.
Balance to keep him up to do that, like.
It's incredible. They're two freaks.
Hager's another guy.
Good way.
Hager's another guy who's like huge, and you don't realize how big he is.
But what were you talking about before that? Sorry, I was telling the story about Mick. Yeah. So he tells a story on Inside the Ropes from their live show, and it was clipped. Shout out to them as well, Kenny McIntosh and stuff. They do a fantastic job. I actually can't wait to get once they start running shows to be able to go to their shows again. But he told a story going up to that, and so when he was getting cleared for it, that's cool as well.
That's good.
But when he was getting cleared for it, or in the process of getting cleared, Ambrose was cutting these promos on him or whatever, like on social media or whatever, and he said Mick, or he like Ambrose then like cut a promo. Mick was like going along with it, and then Ambrose cut a promo. And he was talking about Mick's family, and he was like, my family or his family or whatever, and. He said Mick turned up the performance centre one day, then like a couple of days later, and Ambrose was there, and he sees Mick, and he jumps over he was leaning on a guardrail, and he jumps over the guardrail and starts like scurrying away, and Mick's like, Dean, I want to talk to you, and he's like that, like, and then he was like, you can say what you want about me. He was like, do your promos about me. He was like, just leave my family out of the promos. He's like, leave my family out of the promos, whatever. And Dean was like, looking at it, scurrying, and looking at whatever. And then like Mick goes home, and there's he's still cutting promos about the family.
Yeah.
So he like starts leaving voicemails on Ambrose's machine, and he's like, I told you to stop. And like 2 or 3 weeks go by, and he's still, and every day he's ringing him. He's like, I fucking told you to stop talking about my family, or whatever. And then like Ambrose like rings him 3 weeks later, and he was like, Mick, he's like, I was on tour in Europe for the last 3 weeks. I'm only after getting all these messages now. And he was like, when you came up to me in the performance centre, I thought you were trying to work the boys. He's like, I thought by you saying leave my family out of this, you meant like me talking about my family more. He's like,
work the boys. Work the boys.
That's hilarious. Actually, the work the boys line just kind of came to me there. Have you listened to any of Jeff Jarrett's new podcast?
No.
Incredible.
Really?
Incredible. I thought
it's hard to say Jeff Jarrett and incredible in the same sentence.
Amazing podcast. He does one on Owen Hart, and it's probably the best podcast I've ever listened to.
Really?
In terms of emotion, in terms of, because him and Owen were really, really close, obviously. And
yeah. Oh jeez, Cody's is burst open. Hey, he's so over here, but listen to, there comes the Shield.
people were ready for Cody to
but everyone was like, yeah, because that's the thing. People were kind of hoping that he'd ascend to the main event scene. How long until he eventually breaks his AEW world title stipulation?
I don't think he's ever going to do it now.
Do you not think he'll do it? I think he will. I still think he will.
I don't think he is.
You can't say never in wrestling.
You can say never. No, you can't say never. I think if they got to a situation where, like, a lot of people either left or a lot of people...
They were desperate, like.
Yeah, if a lot of people left or a lot of people, got injured or whatever. Because that was the thing. I was just talking with the Jeff Jarrett podcast.
Oh, the Usos.
Yeah. Weird to see how things are now.
Look at them, they're big fucking fruit pastille looking Usos.
But
oh look, we're getting Roman Cesaro, the recent Backlash main event. Oh, it's like a big tag team brawl. It's weird how like Roman and Rollins are a tag team in this, like.
Yeah.
But what were we saying? Sorry,
so Jarrett was asked, like, it's Conrad Thompson that does the thing.
Because of course it is.
Yeah, I'm sure he does a fantastic job. He's a great interviewer, but he asks him about, like, because he does 3 episodes about the formation of TNA, and they're fantastic. Like, the first 2 are about, leading up to the formation of TNA, and this 3rd episode then is a watch along of the first TNA episode.
Yeah.
And here's the finish, isn't it?
Yeah, this is it, I think. Because I think
people were ready.
Sando pulls him down. Oh, rough bump.
Bad bump, yeah.
I remember watching this, not live, but I remember being like a fan and being so pissed off at this. I remember being how old was I in 2013?
I think it was too early for Sandow.
I think I was 15, I think. And I remember being so pissed off.
Go forward a year, 2 years, people were ready then.
Not even that, I
think people were ready with the Miz stuff.
Yeah, we buffered again anyway.
Buffering.
Oh, no, we're good. I don't even mind. No, it just pissed me off, like the fact that like I never got Sandow. Looking back, I appreciate the gimmick now, but at the time I just thought he was shit. I just thought he was crap.
I'm always very surprised why he never ended up in AEW.
But see, this thing, when he got released, everyone was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be great now, Sandow on the indies, he can, Aaron Rex or Aaron Stevens as he is now, he'll be able to show WWE what's what, like, and went to Impact first of all, and he won the Grand Championship, that thing they brought in for a while, the kind of MMA title, and it was kind of weird. And then he left Impact very, very quickly after joining, and he's been in the NWA more or less exclusively since, and he's the national champion now in NWA, but like he hasn't achieved nearly enough heights.
Yeah. But like, given this, like, that he was Cody's partner, and there's a story there. Like, even for a small run, like Zack Ryder did, or Matt Cardona.
Yeah, but even like it's crazy. Like, this was obviously like a lot of people were up for this too, because a lot of people were fans of him here anyway, and then he enters into a feud with Cody after this, which leads to a match at SummerSlam between the two of them that Cody wins clean.
Yeah.
Cody beats him clean, and then he loses like every feud up until the match with Cena in October. It was because it was after, I think it was the Raw after Hell in a Cell. I think he cashes in, and Cena beats him with one arm, clean. Like, it's not like someone came down and cost him. He beats him clean with one arm.
At least they did that with Corbin, where
Cena cost him. Yeah.
Who did he cash in on?
Jinder.
Oh Jesus.
Baron Corbin cashing in on Jinder Mahal. What a weird thing to say. Yeah. See, it looks like they're teasing a Jinder and Drew feud now.
They wanted to do that last year.
Yeah, but like,
I think it'd be interesting.
Like, like next week we're going to break down the full Money in the Bank card, but like, spoilers for that, I was convinced that Drew McIntyre is going to win the ladder match for the men, and now I'm not sure because they seem to be teasing that he's going into a feud with Jinder because Jinder stole his sword.
I think they're going to... I know we're going to talk about this more next week. I think they're going to go Big E.
Think so. Maybe give him his momentum back. Could be.
I think it's going to be a thing where we're going to go Big E, and Roman is going to confront him and say, do you want to win it the cheap way or do you want to win it the right way?
Yeah.
And convince him. And
convince him to cash in ahead of time. Yeah, and then
we'll get Big E and Roman at SummerSlam.
I wouldn't be against it. I wouldn't be against it at all.
Because I know people are saying Cena Roman at SummerSlam. I think we're going to get maybe Cena Lashley or else Cena and McIntyre. I think they're desperate to have Cena on Raw because they Raw need.
I'd be up for Cena Lashley.
Cena Lashley, considering it's been how many years since they wrestled?
14.
Yeah.
14 since their one and only singles match.
Yeah, there you go.
And it was a good match too. I had that on DVD.
Which one? Was it
Great American Bash 2007, yeah. I had that on DVD.
I had to get a beer.
Yeah. Go get a beer. There's someone at the door. It's all popping off here in the house. But yeah. Crazy. Rob Van Dam returns here. What a weird 7 years he's had. Time in Impact, got married, is in an open relationship. Oh, that's a nasty bump Cody takes there. Yeah, man, great. Damien Sandow probably had one of the best customized briefcases. What's this now? Justin Roberts as well. AEW Justin Roberts. Oh crap, this is Brad Maddox era.
Sorry, the doorbell was taken.
Oh, was it?
Why did you ask me or something? Yeah, my sister said she was having 2 friends over, and you swear it was the Royal Rumble. It's like my kitchen at the moment.
Look at AEW announcer Brad Maddox, or not Brad Maddox, Justin Roberts.
Yeah, it was the AEW announcer. What's he doing these days, Brad Maddox?
Couldn't tell you. Wanking up a page. Probably the peak of his career.
It's what he would be remembered for, anyway.
Yeah. He was hilarious as well.
Is he the GM here?
He's the GM, yeah.
He's not still in the business, is he?
Couldn't tell you. I honestly have no idea. You know what's hilarious is, like, you remember the match where he came out. Jack's dog causing wreck.
He just decided, he looked at the laptop and he said, you know, this is the best I can walk over.
Fuck this podcast.
Fuck Brad Maddox. Shut this shit down.
Do you remember the match where Brad Maddox came, like, out as like a like?
I remember the video where Brad Maddox came.
Oh no. No, I'm talking Hell in a Cell 2012, I think it was, where
he low-blowed right back.
Yeah. I remember watching that and see, like, he was the ref.
He doesn't look like a referee.
I remember being like, I've never seen him before. Yeah. I was like, this is weird. Oh, Vicky's up in the stands for some reason. And Kofi. Kofi's there next to her. And Big Show.
And Josh
Matthews.
Well, I expect Big Show there, but like Kofi.
Where's Kofi there? This is weird as well because Vicky's a face at the moment. Because it was like Brad Maddox was.
Vicky, obviously, I imagine, I haven't heard anyone say a bad word about her, is probably a lovely woman.
Oh, well, my phone's ringing.
Oh, Jesus, it's my turn now.
It's all popping off.
But as I was saying, Vicky, to me, is a lovely woman, but just an incredible heel. But you know, it's very strange in the sense that, you know, she's on AEW right now, and as Brad Marks tries to get a "Thank you, Vicky" chant going, you know, you see Andrade, and I'd love to get Billy's thoughts on this, using a lot of Eddie's moves now as a kind of a tribute. And, you know, to me, a wrestler tributing obviously a beloved legend, and then his widowed wife is in his corner, to me, is a face rather than a heel. I just don't get where the badness comes from. So, yeah, when Billy comes back and asks him his opinion on it. But here we have Brad Maddox. Going to the Jumbotron. It's like a tribute. She has Cougar written on her necklace there. Here's an old tribute to Vicky. This is surely gonna go sour, because they like to put Vicky as the butt of the joke. yeah, it's turned sour pretty quickly. Vicky's a trooper, man. Like, their relationship with Edge, but Vicky's a trooper. Never took herself seriously. You herpes with fits. Callie and she was really up for anything. Truly gave everything she had to the business, and becoming more, like, getting a more sentimental sense. I'd like to think that Eddie looks down and is proud of that, because she gave everything to this business.
That is getting everyone's arse.
I was just talking. They're doing this, obviously, this like mock tribute video for her that Brad Maddox is doing, but it goes back in all the kind of more embarrassing moments that Vicky's had. But yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, she gave a lot. Like, she never took herself seriously. No. She and for someone that was never she was never in the business. Like, obviously her husband was, but like, as I was saying there before you came in, like, obviously Eddie, isn't here, but like, if he could see this, he'd have to be incredibly proud in the way that she's just, up for anything, will not afraid to make an arse of herself.
Yeah.
It's incredible, and like, she's been incredibly entertaining.
I think it's because like that now, she obviously came into the business as like a byproduct of Eddie's passing.
Yeah.
And it was very unfortunate and stuff, but like, obviously it created Vicky Guerrero as an on-screen figure.
Yeah.
And obviously she came in as a baby face, you know what I mean? Like, she was never going to be a heel straight away. But then I think she kind of realised that there's probably, we were probably too young to really realise at the time, but like, there was probably rumblings of she hasn't earned anything, she's been given this out of pity and stuff like that. Like, so then she was able to, obviously, like you said, not take herself that seriously.
And she's still doing very well to this day in the business. You know? And as I was saying this before after you left there, sorry, we just kind of have a bit of buffering going on there, and we just wait till it passes. But like so did you see Andrade's match last night? Mm-hmm. So. Oh, this is where Heyman is with Curtis Axel.
Yeah, IC champion Curtis Axel.
Very strange.
This is when he beat Triple H and beat John Cena.
He was released, wasn't he? How was he?
Mm-hmm.
He's, but the so what did you thought? Like, it was a great match, Andrade's match last night. Yeah. You didn't think it was that
okay? It was okay. I thought it was a good match. I thought it was a grand TV match. So it was a grand debut. I thought Seidel got a lot of. I know you don't want to bury Seidel either, but like, I thought he got a lot of offense in for kind of.
But he's ranked number 5 in the.
I know,
but he is ranked. Like, and granted, you're probably right in terms of he should be treated like a major star.
Like,
I thought it was a good match, but what I wanted to ask you about was. So obviously Vicky's his manager,
mm-hmm.
and you've obviously seen the match, so he was doing a lot of Eddie's offense,
and he went for he never hit the frog splash though.
But he did the Three Amigos, and he went for the frog splash, and the crowd went
crazy. Yeah.
But like I was explaining there before, or what you were on the phone, like he's tributing a beloved wrestler, while that said wrestler's widow is his manager. How is that a heel? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Like that's something you want to cheer. That's he's tributing.
Because I was going to say to you as well, when he did that, when he did
the crowd went nuts.
The crowd went bananas. Yeah.
Because because obviously the comparison has been there for a long time, where people are like, he's like Eddie, and Angel Garza is kind of the same, where they're like, he's like Eddie.
Angel Garza, I think, is more like him though.
I think he's more like Eddie. But I think in terms of wrestling and stuff, and like the comparison can be made with Andrade. And obviously they're kind of leaning into that, but I just don't understand how you make that a heel. And I know Eddie's gimmick was always lie, cheat, steal. Like
I know, yeah, it is. But like, even when Eddie was a heel, everyone loved him. The only way Eddie was like,
holy fuck, you came in here with these two penguin bars, and I didn't even see you eat them. I saw the wrappers for remnants of I never saw you eat them.
You know what's crazy here as well is that Miz is a heel and so is Curtis Axel here. They're both heels.
Two heels, yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely his heels then, or is this not his face?
I think this is going into his face. Well, I don't know, because like as Maddox was leaving, he gave him a pat on the back, and Maddox is definitely a heel.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey man, don't eat my shoes. Maybe they are. Maybe he's a face here. I'm not sure. I remember when he had the really long hair all over. He was a face. So maybe. Oh, he's Eddie. Oh, speaking of Eddie Guerrero.
Oh, he's Now, that's a bit far-fetched.
Paul Heyman laid out the Miz.
yeah.
Paul Heyman's ever hit someone in his life. Ask them. I love how Heyman is always outsmarting everyone.
It's so funny.
I love the pantomime of wrestling.
I need a time frame on this as well. When did Heyman lose the ponytail?
I was literally thinking that as well. I was like, this is ponytail Heyman. I think it was after the Punk feud. I think.
Well, it was going anyway.
Christ, yeah, he was
thinning out.
He was grasping at straws, literally.
Kind of still is with
the shave, where he just goes all over.
I never understand people.
I think it makes it. I think he genuinely just incorporates into his gimmick. He looks like the old Jew manager.
Yeah,
I
suppose maybe. But I just never understand people with like the Zidane here, like the Zinedine Zidane, like where
Iniesta.
You have just like just go bald.
To be fair, two of those guys
like
did do it.
I used to have an old boss of mine used to have that haircut, and I'm like, I cannot take you seriously right now. I'm not going to respect a man with that hair.
Yeah.
Unless you're Zinedine Zidane.
We got an order off a guy in work actually recently off a guy named Zinedine. It was an online it was an online order that came through Zinedine, and I remember everyone was just like, Zizou? If he walks through that door, I swear to God. Yeah, I can never understand someone who has like really bad thinning hair, like as in like they're going bald. You are going bald. Just give up the ghost.
Shave it,
yeah, just shave it. It definitely look better than what you have going on right now. Yeah.
We've I don't even know if you know this, but we've a friend of ours that recently decided to.
We've a friend who doesn't.
Yeah.
Who?
Ryan Haggerty.
No, I know.
He did. Well, it's not complete. It's shaved down.
Right. Yeah.
It's not completely bald, but it was.
How's it look?
It's it really suits him.
Yeah.
Like because he's after growing his beard out now as well, so it's kind of. Shout out to Ryan. I'll tell him to listen to this because he actually.
He's got the Higuain like.
Yeah. But he actually has some weird obscure knowledge about wrestling. Like
really?
A lot of our friends don't like wrestling, but like he'll text me some days and he'll be like, or when we were
catch NWA Power last night.
I'll give you an example. No, he doesn't watch wrestling now, but he has this weird, like he just watched a certain era of wrestling, and I'm like, how did you even watch that? Because it was before we were born.
Oh really?
Like I'll give you an example, right? He was asking me about the podcast one day, and it was right before we were to interview Justin Credible.
Yeah.
And I said to him, we're interviewing,
Just incredible.
Former ECW champion, like big guy. I thought I didn't know who he is. He was like, yeah, I was like, the name's kind of familiar or whatever. I was like, yeah, he wrestled in the WWE as well. He first started as Aldo Montoya, and he was like, oh, Aldo! It's like, how do you know who that is? You know who Just Incredible is? But you know who is Aldo Montoya? It's like,
of course, Ryan would love the new generation era.
He does.
The most psychedelic version of WWE, with the likes of Mantar and fucking Repo Man.
He does.
I wonder why.
Like, he just texts me randomly and just start naming obscure wrestlers. Like, he texted me at like 2 a.m. one time in the morning, 2 in the morning, and just said Hacksaw Jim Duggan. That's all he said. So what do I even do with this?
Did you watch Aldo Montoya versus Mephisto last night? Or Mystico? No, who was the guy, the magician? He only wrestled like 3 times.
Oh Jesus, I
can't remember his name.
Duke the Dumpster Drosy. I was actually watching an OSW review thing, right? And it was at WrestleMania 17, and you know they did the gimmick battle royal.
Yeah.
And he was in it, Duke the Dumpster Drosy, and they pointed out, and it's a really good observation, as like, you know, all these people were like, you know, they were like occupations at the time,
yeah,
you know, like dentists and all these, whatever. But like, did they insinuate that he was a dumpster? like they never said Duke the Dumpster Man drove.
He was a
dumpster.
He was a genuine dumpster.
Killed his gimmick before he even started. This guy's a dumpster.
Perfect flex.
That's cool. That is cool.
Just bury your father there. That's fine.
Wow. Yeah, well, I wonder.
Kurt will be spinning in his grave.
Jesus. His clause must be coming up soon as well. Is that his 90-day non-compete?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Be interesting. Like,
I think it actually might be done. I can't remember when he got released.
He does have Impact written all over him.
He does. Is Bo Dallas gone?
Yeah. Because people are still saying he's still believing that he's the Fiend. Because Fiend hasn't appeared on television since he was released.
Oh, this is face music.
This is face music, the figure 4. But the Fiend hasn't appeared on television since Bo Dallas has been released, which is adding fuel to the rumor that he was the Fiend.
No, I mean, no. He's not. Like, obviously he's not.
What's going to happen with
Bray?
I reckon it'll be the first night crowds come back.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but is Money in the Bank the first show with crowd?
Yes.
Or is Raw next week a crowd?
I don't know. I think Raw next week might be a crowd. I'm not sure. I think it might be Money in the Bank, and then the Raw.
The Raw after is definitely.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if next week has one. But
match here. This is.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's decent.
I think they have a lot planned. I think Becky's coming back soon.
Oh, as in, I thought you meant with the Fiend. But
I think they have a lot planned in terms of, like, they've been holding off on a lot for the crowds to return.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get like a really good show.
I reckon SummerSlam's going to be one of the best cards in a long time.
Yeah. I think Becky's going to be back.
Cena.
I think Cena will be back.
I think Brock could be back.
Do you reckon Brock will be back?
I think Brock could be. I think Brock might be there for SummerSlam. I think Brock and Lashley is the match for SummerSlam.
I really want to see that.
I think now is the time. It's now or never.
Yeah.
And I know people are going to be like, oh yeah, but what about him and all this kind of stuff, like. But I honestly don't think well, you know what? You don't need Heyman because MVP is there and MVP can fill that role. So
did you see? That's a spot you never really see.
Kick the rope.
Kick the rope up into your face. It's pretty cool. That's a finish?
I think so. Yeah, 2, 3.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
It was a clever finish. I thought it was really good.
Clean win for Axel as well.
Well, cleanish. He kicked the rope up in his face. No, that's a spot you never really see.
You know what he does, and he did it actually early in the match. I don't know if you didn't notice it, but he's the only wrestler I've ever seen do this spot, and he does it in every match. Like, he'll be hanging onto the ropes, and like the wrestler will kick his leg, and I know that's not all the time, but he does a full backflip rotation. Yeah. He really sells
very dangerous, but he can do it well.
Yeah, he does it really well, and it's crazy because he doesn't do like any other thing. He doesn't do anything else acrobatic in his moveset. It's kind of crazy, but Yeah, I reckon we'll get Cena, we'll get Brock. I reckon we'll get Becky. I think they're the three guaranteed ones, and maybe the Fiend.
Yeah, I think they've realised now that the Fiend
needs a crowd. Like,
needs a crowd. Yeah. No, he didn't, because the Firefly Funhouse was great, but like to write for him those Egypts.
I just realised as well when he's coming back. I reckon he's back on Money in the Bank.
For what?
Will I talk about it now, or like jump into my?
No, we'll talk about it next week when. I was about to say his name. Yeah, so when we have our next guest.
I have an idea for it anyway. I have an idea for him because I think I know what his match is going to be, but it's just a question of how you get there. But yeah, I reckon I think of all of the I think of Becky, Brock, and what's his name? Who else did I say?
Becky, Brock,
Cena.
and Cena.
I think Becky's guaranteed. I think Becky is almost guaranteed to be there. Concussion. We never see this anymore. Broken bones.
When was the last time you watched a WWE show? That's not a pay-per-view though. I'd say you see these during the Raw shows more so than the
maybe, yeah. Or I'd say maybe we're just like, maybe we don't have to tell people this anymore. AJ Lee.
I miss AJ Lee, man.
She came back. That would be a pop and a half. And Big E Langston. This is.
Did you see the video where he like is doing his?
And he's punched her in the face, yeah, or elbows her or something. This is in the run of. This is when she was like the longest reigning Divas champion.
This is incredible. This is what like she was ahead of her time.
Yeah.
Her, Gail Kim,
Lita,
Austin Kong, Lita. These like there's a select few that were just Molly Holly,
Victoria.
Yeah, like just ahead of their time.
Or you know what? Anyone from like the Knockouts division in TNA early 2000s.
Yeah.
Because they were ahead of their time.
But like what's very frustrating. What's very frustrating about that is more frustrating with AJ Lee than any of them. So AJ Lee was so close.
Yeah, she was very close.
Like, if she had hung on for
a
year or two.
Yeah, and the thing is, she was so young that like she genuinely could very easily still be wrestling today.
She could come back now.
How old is she? Like 32 or something. She's like something.
But she says that she walked away because of injuries.
Yeah,
there's nothing got to do with Punk.
That's fair enough. So, I guess that's fair. Tud. You know what's funny as well? How many people AJ Lee had a love angle with in WWE. When you have a love angle with Kane. You know what's actually even crazier? How many people Kane's had a love angle with?
That's hilarious.
Look how serious Big E looks. Look at him.
Look at this big oversized shirt.
He looks like a GTA character.
He looks like something in San Andreas.
Fuck it, there's a spear and a half of him. Look at him.
I want to see what he wears in real life because there's no way
he doesn't dress like that.
His pants were so.
I think he dresses like he dresses the New Day. I think he just goes around like that.
Yeah.
Singlet and a trench coat.
It's amazing. He's been around for a long time as well. Like he's
2013, sure, yeah. What's crazy is I think he was NXT champion here as well.
Was he the champion?
He was champion when he got called up, and I think like.
And he never put the belt on TV.
No,
that's mad.
Sure, Rollins was champion when when the Shield got called up.
Was he?
Yeah, because when he dropped the title to Big E, and in that like you've obviously seen the match where Rollins wins the title against Jinder.
Yeah.
And like he has like the weird. You know, he's got the short trunks on, or whatever.
Big E beats him, he's the Shield gear.
He's the Shield gear on, yeah. And then Big E was champion when he got called up. Like, Big E was champion for like 200 and something days.
He used to do the 5 count, the Big Ron Bundy 5 count thing.
Yeah. And when he got called up as Ziggler's henchman, / AJ's henchman, he was champion, I think. I don't know if he was still champion here, but he was champion for a bit, and then he dropped it to Bo Dallas.
Yeah. What's Caitlyn doing these days? She was
no idea.
Good wrestler, like.
She was kind of one of these ones who like plugged away and was kind of always consistently fine, like always good and reliable.
Yeah, I think she was one of these people that like never. I think she got brought into the business was never really a fan. I could be wrong here, but I just from the impression I got, and she just worked hard at it.
Yeah.
She had any natural ability. Like AJ Lee, obviously, clearly is a fan of wrestling.
Was. Sure, that famous picture of her and Lita, remember that?
Yeah.
When she was like 13 or something, getting a autograph from Lita.
You can tell by her she loves wrestling.
Yeah, definitely.
But, you know, again, I think there's... I think it would be a huge miscarriage of justice if we go the whole time, like if we never see AJ Lee in wrestling again capacity again.
Yeah, but look, she's very successful outside wrestling.
I know she is. That's the thing. And, you know,
so she doesn't actually need to.
And if it was the injury thing, then
then fair enough. You know, I'd rather her not risk getting really badly hurt.
But if I'm Tony Khan and I'm looking at my women's division right now,
AJ Lee would definitely approve it.
Yeah.
AJ Lee and Britt Baker would be just fantastic.
It'd be incredible. That would be incredible.
I'd be up for that.
Even an AJ Lee and Becky Lynch.
Yeah, I mean
AJ Lee, Banks,
AJ
Bailey. You know?
Like AJ in the WWE Women's Division now is amazing because WWE's Women's Division now is just brilliant. Like if you can combine NXT, do you know what I mean? Like NXT.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know what I just thought of? AJ Lee versus Candice LeRae. Can you imagine that would be, or AJ Lee versus Io Shirai.
Yeah.
Those would be fantastic. But like, yeah, I mean. I can't remember how old she is. She's still quite young. She's obviously not that old, but like, I would love if she came back.
Shout out to her husband, who got his.
Who's he again?
Who got his defeat in UFC overturned to a no contest.
Default.
Like that meme you sent me where it was like, you have to visualize beating Mike Jackson. It's like 3 years later
and get overturned due to a weed violation.
I actually don't remember Layla being with Caitlyn.
I don't either.
What's Layla doing these days?
I don't know. I know none of them are involved in wrestling. That's the thing. None of these women are involved in wrestling anymore.
Yeah.
Caitlyn,
the bane in my life, the question.
Yeah, that lost you.
On Talk Sport. Yeah.
Love.
Did you know she was British? I always thought she was Australian.
No, I knew she was British. I knew she was British. I actually remember her debut, which is a weird thing for me that I just remember. It's one of those weird wrestling things that I can remember. She debuted at No Mercy 2006.
Wow. That's a long time. Like, this 2013, you're talking 7 years. Like,
yeah.
I didn't know she was in WWE.
She didn't, and this is what's weirder, right? She didn't actually debut. Okay, she was part of like the Diva search and whatever, like.
Yeah.
So she was around for that.
Did she have like really, really curly hair?
Yeah.
Oh, is that the same one?
Yeah. She was, yeah. But I remember this segment so vividly because I had it on DVD. It was No Mercy 2006. It was in October, and it was the Miz's birthday, and the Miz was around at this as well. And the Miz came out, and it was like, it's my birthday, you know, I want to celebrate. Layla comes out, and Layla's like, oh yeah. Basically, she doesn't say it, like, but she's teasing, giving him a lap dance, and she puts on a blindfold, and like he's getting all excited.
Big Dick
Johnson comes out, yeah.
So he was a writer.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
So there's a story with him and JR.
Really?
Where they do like at a house show. I don't know why JR was at the house show, but there was some house show. I think it was in Oklahoma, and they had a JR appreciation, like that. But like, which obviously
mandatory in Oklahoma.
Obviously, in Vince's sick mind, like JR appreciation like turns into let's rip JR in front of in public people. So like, JR is out there and he doesn't know. He's like giving a heartfelt speech, and there's no Big Dick Johnson.
Yeah.
And JR never knew he was coming out, like, so Big Dick Johnson comes out and he's doing the whole like dance thing or whatever, and JR he like gets up and JR's grill like just fucking driving on like whatever. JR punches him. He said he only meant like to playfully punch him, but he whacks him so hard he splits his eye. Vince rings JR after. He's like, God damn it, JR. He was only having some fun. God damn it, Jim. You have to split the guy open.
God damn it, Jim.
But he was like, if you just told me he was going here, I would have been prepared.
Caitlin kind of reminds me of Natalia in the sense that, like, she never changed, like, her gear or her gimmick or anything like that, but she just swapped between heel and face version of who she was.
Yeah. Natalia is another one. I know.
I love this submission.
Yeah.
The Black Widow.
I know we tend to rag on Natalia, but she was another one that was ahead of her time. Like, cause she was in this division here.
Yeah, that's the thing. You forget, 2010 she came in, I think.
Yeah. Like, she was well ahead of her time. Beth Phoenix is another one.
Beth Phoenix as well. Beth Phoenix especially, I think.
Yeah, imagine Beth Phoenix now.
Beth Phoenix would be class now. China, if we're going for naming people. Imagine China nowadays.
She was never great in the ring, though.
Ah, yeah, but she was a spectacle.
She was a spectacle, but, like, Beth Phoenix was a spectacle, but she was fucking great
good,
in the ring.
Did you ever watch Third Rock from the Sun?
I've heard of it.
It's an old
it's about
sitcom.
They're aliens.
Yeah, they're aliens, and they're like they're infiltrating Earth as a family to, you know, watch humans. But I was watching, like, so the woman, the like main woman in it, she's like, as an alien, she's like this warrior, and, you know, she's like this, you know, leader of legions and whatever. But as an alien, as a human, she's meant to be like this housewife, and, you know, she's meant to be like, you know, the ideal woman kind of thing, like, and or like the stereotypical woman, I should say. And there's an but she gets. Do you remember? Have you seen Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
You know the guy in Jurassic Park with the glasses, and he tries to steal it all, and he gets killed. He plays her boyfriend, which is hilarious because she's like 6 foot tall, and he's obviously the small little guy. But he's like the police chief, and anyway, he's like, oh yeah, we have a new rookie, and, like, you know, she's like all tough and stuff, and she like gives everyone a hard time, and the rookie turns out to be China. And I remember I popped hard for it because I was just watching it. Like, it's just like it was popular. Like, my mom said it was quite popular. Look at Big Show.
Such a large man.
Yeah. But, like, my mom said it was actually a really funny show in its heyday.
Yeah,
like,
it was a very popular show.
But like, when it's on Comedy Central at the moment, my mom started watching it again because she was like, "Oh, this is a blast from the past." Like, and then I remember I was just watching it. The next thing, China just comes out. I was like, "Hey, what the hell?"
It's like, do you ever see King of Queens where they get into that bar fight and it's all?
Oh yeah.
Rampage Jackson.
Yeah. Or isn't there an episode with Goldberg?
That's the Goldberg.
I know he's in the Goldbergs, but I think there's an episode. Is there an episode where he's like
Queens?
Is he like a UPS driver as well, or something? Or he's like he's. I could be. That might have been
Goldberg.
That might have been a weird dream or something, like. But
banging his head off his truck before he comes in.
Yeah. He hasn't aged at all.
Big Show.
Yeah. None of these people have.
The weight sincere though.
Yeah, he hasn't. Big Show is a weird one though, because, like, obviously he's a giant man, and, like, you know, he's always going to be like a heavy person because he carries that weight anyway. But, like, he always kind of he like yo-yos his weight crazy, but, like, he never looks like. The only time I can remember him looking out of shape was like 2006, 2005, 2006, ECW Big Show, like.
Yeah,
he looked awful.
You must remember as well, there was a long time.
Jericho.
There was a long time where they sent him to OVW to lose weight. So you don't remember him being out of shape, but it was because he wasn't on TV.
Yeah.
And then he came back and he was still
trimmed.
No, he didn't even come back trimmed. He came back and he was still kind of large.
Yeah. That
was the time, you know. Remember when he picked Mysterio up and
swung him? Yeah.
That was that time, and he was still a heavy guy. But, like, now, like, that story. If you heard a story about Cena and him, and how he was like, Cena was onto him about losing weight or whatever, or the whole company was onto him about losing weight.
Yeah.
And because they were worried, because I think Vince's concern was Andre. He's seen it
happen. Yeah.
So they were onto him about losing weight or whatever, and he was talking to Cena one day, and he was like dismissing it. And he was like, "Who wants to see a giant with abs?" And then Cena said, "I do." I want to see what giant with abs.
I want to see what that's like.
Yeah, and eventually he got there.
He got abs.
Where he had abs.
You know, as good as Judas is, it'll never break the walls down.
It's a good replacement though. Like, if you're like, he's one of those wrestlers that you could never imagine without that song. But like, you need a banging song then to replace it, and it is.
Look who he's wrestling.
Oh God.
The big guy.
This is for the anti-COVID championship of the world, I think.
He looks like he's
COVID deniers title.
Anti-vax championship. He looks like he sweats steroids.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
He allegedly sweats steroids.
Did you hurt your leg? It's funny, with the amount of sobbing that you're doing right now, they should probably change your name from
Cryback.
to Cryback.
That was that one.
How far away could I be to see that? Oh, fucking hell. I hate when they do this like tater tots. Joe, when they like really...
Why would he get back in the ring? Why would he not just run away?
What was the one as well where Jericho did? Or was it... Remember in this feud with Ambrose and they tried to like really like shoehorn in this stupid phrase. Oh, it was about his jacket or something. I can't remember. But
I remember the thing with the New Day when he was in Rudy Tooty. Fruity.
Maybe that might be it. But they were like, yeah, Rudy Tooty.
But he has in his last book. Well, he has a new book. Like it came out like yesterday.
I saw that. Yeah.
But I want to get that book as well. But in his last book before that, he has a chapter dedicated to his failed catchphrases.
Really?
Yeah. It's like going through all his failed catchphrases. Because he had like, get it, got it, good. So that he was supposed to say, get it, got it, and the crowd were supposed to say, good.
And it just never worked. Yeah. It's nothing worse, is there?
No, but to be fair, like, the credit I'll give him is that he was never afraid of failing.
No, I mean, that's the thing, like, he
created, like, the Ayatollah Rock and Rolla, Raw is he's created umpteen catchphrases from memorable
it's a great example of like, you know, he could try like 10 things, one might be an iconic catchphrase but 9 might fail, but like everyone remembers obviously the iconic one,
but he was afraid to fail on it, or he wasn't afraid to fail on it. That's what I meant.
And that's why he's so good at what he does.
So many people don't try these things because they're afraid that, you know, it mightn't work, but he was never afraid to fucking go out and try something, and that's why he was the king of rejuvenation.
That's the thing. He is the master of reinvention. Like,
and he still is to this day. Like
he's still changing. Like, I love his
last night. Like the whole
the Labors of Jericho.
That's a new thing. Like, you know,
I love how even like Inner Circle Jericho, right? So if you go over like the whole lifespan of the Inner Circle so far, like they've slightly tweaked it. You know, like obviously there was the Le Champion, and when he was the champion, but now like they're the baby faces, they're like a biker gang or something. Like they've slightly twinged it every time, just to keep it fresh, just so it's not exactly the same.
Because that's the thing, they're doing all they can to keep him and MJF fresh.
Yeah, because they wanted to get to. And
that's what WWE don't do. Like, we're sick of seeing Lashley and Drew now.
Yeah.
And they do it so many times, but like they tweak the characters or tweak.
They change something, and like
there's always a new dynamic, and that's what makes it good out of these long-term feuds. But I also do get the impression, I think it is going along him and MJF.
It is.
I do get the impression he's trying to recreate the Michaels feud.
Yeah, maybe it's not, but yeah,
it's just not.
It's just not happening because the Michaels feud was organic.
And the Michaels feud was like lightning in a bottle. Like,
that's the thing. Like I said,
once in a lifetime.
The whole Rebecca thing was an accident, or was it an accident?
It was an accident. Well, he was kayfabe supposed to hit her, and then
he actually decked her.
Yeah. Accident.
So like it created just absolute magic, like, and But
still to this day, probably one of the best, like probably the best
feud of the noughties.
Yeah, like
it's up there anyway.
It's
top 3.
It's up there in WWE history. I think that's one of. You look at that in terms of stories. That the Mega Powers like
Austin and Rock.
Austin and Rock though wasn't really a story.
Austin and Vince.
Austin and Vince.
Yeah.
But again, Austin and Vince was more organic, and there was never really. Austin and Vince was like just an ongoing thing. There was never really like an end point.
Yeah. It was something to go on forever.
He was Vince up until 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine he's probably hit his last number on Vince. I don't think Vince is going to go on TV.
I'll never rule it out.
Never.
I'll never rule it out with Vince.
Vince, yeah, it's a weird one because Vince, after the debacle of Triple H's anniversary, where he was rambling,
he just rigged him. I suppose they weren't expecting a pandemic as well at the time.
Well, no, it was in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah, I know, but I think they were already advertising his anniversary event. It was very soon. It was like the fourth show. Like, yeah.
Did you see? Did you listen to Lana on Jericho's podcast?
No.
So, you don't listen to much podcasts, do you?
No, I don't.
Considering you're recording one right now.
I just don't have time. I don't have time to sit down for like.
I suppose I do. I listen to a lot of podcasts being productive. Like, I will do something else as I'm listening.
See, I couldn't do that because I think I just get distracted being like, alright, no, I have to sit down and listen to this.
Like, no, I listen to podcasts during work. Like, I'll start my day at like 8:45. Like, queue up 4 or 5 podcasts, and that'll take me to 5 o'clock. Like, I listen to podcasts.
I suppose it's a good way to kind of judge the day, as in like, by the time this is over, I'll be done.
Yeah, like that's my thing. And even when we were in the offices, we were allowed to do that. Like,
that's fair enough.
It's fine. Well, I was actually in the offices one day. This is a completely sidebar story. But I was in the offices one day, and this is a manager. He's not my manager, but he's a manager of a different apartment. But they sit kind of adjacent to us, and he actually interviewed me when I was. He was one of the people interviewing me when I went for the job. He turned to me one day because obviously in the interview I mentioned like I do a podcast. You know, I do a lot of analytical work, all this, and you know, all the skills I've learned from doing this podcast. And we were sitting in work one day, and like I had my headphones in. He just went. And he just tapped me, and I put up my headphones, and I was like, "What?" And he was like, "That was a great episode." I was like, "Great episode of what?" And he was like, "Yeah, I was just listening to your podcast there. It was a great episode." I was like, "All right." Man who's way higher up than I am in this company. Thank you. But
give me more money. You want more? I'll stop producing.
You'll have no content.
No, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts just because it's not it's like I feel like I have to pay attention to them. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I, you know.
Yeah.
But well, anyway, Lana on Jericho's podcast.
Lana on Jericho's podcast. She talked about how she was like how that period before they went live in the Thunderdome. You know, the way Raw was taped, like, in the Performance Centre.
Yeah.
It went live in the Thunderdome then. She was like, that was a nightmare.
Really?
That was an absolute nightmare. Like, you'd have a 20-second skit on Raw.
Yeah. And you were there for like 5 hours. You were
there for like 7 hours.
Yeah.
She said one time she had a skit, a backstage segment on Raw. And they filmed it. Vince was there overproducing it to fuck. And was like, like a 20-second skit, took 5 hours to produce. In the end, he was like, "Okay, that's fine. We have it. Go home." And she was on her way home, and he got a phone call. And was like, "We need to come back and film this skit." So she was like, she couldn't wait when they went live. He was like, he couldn't get involved. He couldn't overproduce. She said they filmed a whole match where Chelsea Green debuted alongside Mickie James as Mickie James' lackey.
Yeah.
And they filmed the whole match for SmackDown, and it was pulled at the last minute.
Jesus Christ.
Like, Vince is just doesn't know what he wants.
No, he's just the most indecisive man in the world. Oh my god.
Punk wasn't lying.
Whiplash.
So he takes years off your career.
Just that was such an unnecessarily hard bump as well. Oh, that looked hard. That looked really hard.
He's talking to him there. He's like, are you
okay? Ryback.
Oh.
See, he's trying to like trademark Ryback and trying to like, I think he's trying to change his name to Ryan Ryback. Like Warrior, like yeah.
Yeah, because there's one person you want to model your life off.
He definitely tried to model his body after him and his training methods, I presume.
Stop.
I'm making fun of a dead man. Stop.
I'm making fun of a homophobic dead man. I can.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, Apple. Yeah,
homophobic, racist dead man.
That's
Apple's, you know.
Yeah, you know.
It balances itself.
Yes, that's fair, I guess.
Did you watch the Dark Side of the Ring on him?
On Warrior.
Yeah. It's a very good show. Very good.
Yeah, it was, but you know, I thought it was quite funny about it.
Did you watch the A&E documentary on him?
No.
Nonsense.
No, I saw it. Like I saw a clip. I saw a day in a Warrior's bloody quotes, and I was just like.
Did you watch the Macho Man one?
On A&E or
the A&E?
No.
Worse. The
really?
Worst wrestling documentary I have ever seen.
Serious?
Worse. It was a hit job. It was terrible.
What, trying to assassinate Randy Savage kind of thing?
Like, so all of these A&E documentaries were all fluff pieces. It was like, oh, look how great these people were, you know, whatever. And then this one, you know, they were all the same, and fair enough, you know, we'll just watch them, you know, look how great these people are. And then Randy Savage was like, oh, 20 minutes of look how great he was. Yeah. And then, like, it just flipped, and he was actually a psychopath. He locked Elizabeth in a room. He used to, or they were on about, like, how he used, like, all the drugs he did and all this. But, like, I wouldn't mind that, you know. But it was so weird. It was so weird because then there was other people who were obviously involved in the same things, doing the same drugs that they'd done documentaries on, and never mentioned it. But it was all about like how he left for WCW and you know, he was a drug addict. And, you know, like it was just very. It was the worst wrestling documentary I've ever seen.
Just trying to like it was
just a hit job. It was terrible.
And a character assassination, like
And for someone who's dead and can't defend himself.
Yeah. And the fact that, like, Elizabeth is also dead and couldn't be there to, like...
But also the fact that, like...
To clarify anything.
Yeah, but also the fact that you have...
Oh, Jesus. Is Ryback a face here? No.
Yeah, he is,
He is? Are you sure?
I think so, yeah.
I don't think he is.
This is before Ryback, so...
I know, but he was a face the year before when he was challenging Punk.
Maybe.
I think he's a heel. I think Jared was a face.
I don't know, he didn't do a good job in differing.
Yeah. Because he was doing stuff like a while ago to like, he was like kicking him in the head and stuff. I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, Ryback. Don't you miss Ryback? Not. He sucks. Ryback sucks. Yeah, what a weird match. Chris Jericho versus Ryback. Ryback looks like he sweats when he gets out of bed in the morning. When he pulls the covers back, it looks like it's an effort for him. He looks like he builds up lactic acid, brushing his teeth. He's an overly sweaty human. What's this now? Oh, the Performance Center. Oh, this is cool. This is quite cool. This is something... That is weird. Considering how famous and how important the Performance Center is now in WWE and has become. That's insane. Because this is like breaking into NXT. The feud, like NXT was just starting to kick off, like as in the version of NXT that we know today. Oh, this is so weird. This is worth watching now just for this, because it's just mad. Corey Graves. Oh wow, Baron Corbin. This is so weird. They're showing the opening of the performance center. It just opened. Like this is the governor of Florida. But there's, you see like young Baron Corbin, young Corey Graves, young Alexa Bliss.
That's mad.
It's crazy. Cause I was just saying.
I remember watching that press conference live.
Yeah.
Because I watched that live. Because Xavier Woods spoke about it.
Oh, there's Alexa. But because I was just saying there like how important it is now, and how like credited. Look at him to talk like bigging it up like oh like just this could fail, but like just how huge the performance center is now, like how vital it was to WWE over the last year.
I'm just laughing.
What are you laughing at?
So Emily, my girlfriend, she doesn't eat. So she just texted me, and you know the TD, what's her man's name? Donica.
Yeah, I know you're on about, yeah.
Donica O'Leary. Or
yeah.
So he had a child the other day, or recently, but he put this up. So he put it up in Irish to announce the child's birth. He said, Hánig, Noreen, Ronan, McIntyre, Neil Ira, Hogan in a whatever, it came yesterday. So Hánig, to anyone who's
doesn't speak Irish is like arrived.
Really,
Yeah.
But Emily thought the child's name was
Hánig. That's very good. I enjoy that now. Do you remember this match? Do you remember that match? Del Rio versus...
That's double turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was actually a vicious match. He beat the shit out of him.
He had to though. If they were going double turning like that, he had to. Unfortunately, he didn't stop there when he got to his...
Yeah, he kept yeah. He kept going.
Yeah.
In fairness...
Bad man.
Yeah, bad dude. To be fair, Ziggler sells probably better than anyone. So like, you know, he sold that defeat like a fucking hero. It's mental, isn't it, that Del Rio won 4 world championships in WWE? Like, he was the obvious choice to be kind of like the successor to the Latin market over Guerrero, and then he just turned out to be the worst fiend in the world.
Yeah.
Tiny little Ziggy. Ricardo Rodriguez. Remember that guy? This is Ziggler off the back of arguably one of the greatest cash-ins of all time, if not the great. You could argue it was the best one.
I think it probably was.
Do you think so?
Ages or his
Rollins.
Ages' initial one.
Rollins.
Right? Yeah. Sorry, I forgot. Rollins is the greatest cash-in of all time.
Rollins is Dolph Cara. Come on! Yeah, man.
I'm going out here to get you. If you ever doubted me, you don't have a clue. I'm here to
World War
He's another
Ziggler.
one. I like Dolph Ziggler. Hasn't changed his gimmick in about 10 years.
Yeah, he's slightly he's like slightly twinged it, but not enough to call it a change. The dirty dogs.
I think he tried to maybe, but I think he's just gotten to a point where he just knows that no matter what.
This is what he is, like, yeah.
Like, if you talk to him, it's quite, or if you talk to him, as if I sit down and have a drink with him.
Hello,
no,
Nick.
If you listen to him, like, in his interviews, whatever, he says, like, he doesn't watch wrestling.
At all.
Doesn't watch any other matches.
I could believe him, to be fair.
And he just seems like a guy who the business has just defeated in terms of his love for wrestling. But he just does it because he's good at it. He makes a lot of money.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, and the fact he's been doing it now for 15 years in WWE. You know what I mean? Like, it gets to a point where, like, obviously I know he tried to do that whole stand-up comedy thing, but that obviously went nowhere. And, like, like, I'm sorry, he's just not that funny. God, I missed that title. But,
he tried to be a stay-at-home husband with Amy Schumer, but...
Yeah, that's weird they were together.
Yeah.
It's a weird couple. Then she turned out to be a bad person.
Maybe she were.
Yeah.
Did she?
Did you hear about that, no?
I heard about, like, her copying acts.
Yeah, supposedly she's meant to be not a great person. I'm basing it solely off that.
Carlos Mencia. Did you ever see that clip with him and Rogan?
Yeah. They get into like an argument on stage and everything.
But he was a huge star in comedy. Like
Carlos Mencia.
But it was all stolen material.
Yeah. It's crazy how much like Ziggler and his brother look alike.
Yeah.
Ryan. But you see Buddy Murphy's interview recently, where he said
where he watched Wrestle Talk.
And like he would watch 5-minute recaps of shows because he was just like, there's too, like, I just couldn't bear to watch it all.
I get like that sometimes in terms of...
I do too.
It's not that I can't bear to watch it, it's that there's too much on.
But it's gotten to the point where I can't even watch all the recaps.
Yeah.
There's too many. There's too many recaps.
I just kind of read reports.
I'll watch GIFs. It's gone from watching shows to watching recaps to watching 30-second GIFs.
And in the lead up to our review shows, whatever, I'll go back to
get an idea what's going on. But like, there's just a lot of shit to cover, and it's just a lot. It's all good. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of good wrestling to watch now.
Yeah, I told you earlier, I watched Dynamite from last night.
Yeah.
The first Dynamite back touring, and I watched it. I watched it as I was working today, in the background, had it on. That was the first full wrestling show I've watched.
Yeah.
Aside of a pay-per-view in about 6 months, I'd say. It was a great show as well. It's probably one of the best Dynamites I've seen in a long while.
Yeah, it was. It was really good. Just, for the main event alone. Was that the main event? Black?
No, the main event was the Bucks and...
Yeah.
That was actually mid-show, Black and...
Was it? I can't remember.
You were saying you were watching it live and you fell asleep.
I went to sleep, yeah.
I'd say, like, when you fell asleep, it wasn't long afterwards. I'd say you just missed it.
Balls, yeah. Yeah, no, I stayed up till about 2.
Yeah, I'd say it was right about bang smack halfway through the show. You probably just missed it, I'd say.
Fuck's sake. Anyway. that was class, though. Malachi Black. I love that name.
See here,
over. I'm reading Ziggler's trunks. They say over. Del Rio's even got douchey tattoos.
Del Rio's trunks say if in harm's way, call. Terrible human.
See, he said that he was open to coming back to WWE. Go
away.
Back to WWE, I'll lose so much respect.
Stop watching.
Yeah. Why would they bring him back? Like,
but like, he just like, I'm interested in going to WWE also.
I know. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying like WWE are actually interested in signing him, but I'm just saying like they would be crazy.
WWE want to sign me. I'll stop drinking. I'll show up to the Performance Center. I'll work hard.
But like, the thing is, like, like if hypothetically if they re-signed him, you'd literally be counting the minutes until he was released again or got himself in trouble again. Like it's a guarantee.
There's too many. There's no way they'd do it anyway.
I'd hope to God.
Paige works for them.
Does she though? She doesn't work there.
She does, yeah. She does pre-shows and stuff. She works for them, and it would be a HR disaster.
It would be awful.
Brought him back.
You could probably sue them. Do you know what I mean? There's probably like legal ground there.
It's an unsafe work environment. Like, you bring back a previously violent husband. He's a terrible human being.
He's just the worst. He's the worst. 4. Ow. Oh, over it. I thought it said over. I thought it said
Over.
I thought he was like a pirate gimmick or something. Even his hair. He's got douchey hair.
I was once watching just an episode of SmackDown with a non-wrestling fan, and he described him as a spaghetti man with his hair.
Oh, Ziggler?
Yeah.
Yeah. My mum used to always call him Noodlehead.
Yes. He does. He has the strangest hair in terms of the way.
It just looks like Coca Noodles. Like.
Yeah, it does. Were you talking about Del Rio's hair?
I was talking about Del Rio's hair, but Ziggler's hair is also quite strange.
It's looks like a shit human being, to be honest.
Del Rio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this before or after he comes back against Cena?
Just way before that.
Way before.
This is like.
So, like.
This is like 2 years before.
So yeah, Zeb Coulter had a long run here. So
yeah, he had 2 years. Yeah,
because he joined up with the Real Americans. Then,
well, no, he didn't though. Like the Real Americans ended, and then Zeb Coulter.
No, because him and
he never.
Hager feuded with that, didn't they?
They did, yeah, but he wasn't.
Him and Swagger, even. Sorry.
Yeah, but he wasn't he wasn't a member. There wasn't like a falling out. He was just part of Mex America.
Oh right.
And stupid. No, that was before that. Remember Swagger returned with Coulter and won the number 1 contendership elimination chamber match to face Del Rio at WrestleMania 29. Remember? And then Del Rio beat him. Del Rio was a face at the time. Del Rio beat him, and then the next night on Raw, Ziggler cashes in, which led to this feud. But what's interesting is Del Rio's champion here, and he holds the title until Hell in a Cell, which is 3 months. He holds the title for 3 more months, and then he drops it to Cena. Cena beats him at Hell in a Cell, and then not long after that, Del Rio kind of leaves, and then Del Rio returns 2 years later at Hell in a Cell and beats Cena for the US title. Yeah. It was kind of a weird, it was kind of a nice little cyclic thing, but
that was a surprising moment as well.
Dolphin Uranus. Loving the sign. Yeah, that was a surprise. No one saw that coming.
I just see a sign there that says "Hot Young," and
I'm scared to see. I'm scared to see what the third word is.
See the end of it.
At Hot Young something anyway.
I'm hoping that's a Twitter handle.
Who did you see? Oh, who said it recently? It might have been Shawn Michaels, or it might have been Kurt Angle, but one of them said, or it might have been both of them actually, but they were on about Riddle actually, and how he's like the complete package and stuff.
It was Orton.
Was it? I think Angle said it too.
But I think I listened to Orton on Angle's podcast.
Oh, was it that what it was?
That's what he said.
Oh yeah.
He said he thinks he's the one person WWE that has it all at the moment.
To be honest, right, and I know he's a controversial figure, Matt Riddle, just because of the whole Me Too movement and the allegations against him, and I know he had kind of proof to kind of.
I don't know if he had proof, but the fact that WWE kept him on after it.
But his allegations weren't exactly the most clear cut of of everyone else's, and I'm not going to try and justify anything, or I'm not going to side.
We're not going to say that anyone was lying.
Yeah, I'm not going to choose a side here, essentially. But if I'm taking it simply in a wrestling sense, simply in the thing, he is the only good thing on Raw at the moment. He is the most entertaining thing on Raw at the moment. Bar maybe Lashley, and even at that, Lashley's getting a kind of.
When he's allowed to do it himself, he's good.
When he's not, when he's
terrible. You can tell the difference. And
did you see the segment this week where he was on the ladder?
No.
You didn't see it?
No.
So they did a thing where they had all the Raw participants in the ring, and you remember that famous segment from 2016 where they had everyone on ladders.
Jericho was like, "I'm from Winnipeg, you idiot."
Yeah, they were all on ladders. Nice content. But they did that, but it wasn't not with ladders. But Riddle brought in a ladder and sat on the ladder.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Wow, I'm really high," and it was really it was so funny because you could tell that he definitely said it himself.
I'd be interested to see how crowds respond to him.
Yeah.
Because he's one of those.
Because I'm loving Arcade Bro at the moment.
Yeah.
I didn't really like that at the start, but it's grown massively on me.
I think he's very good, Riddle, when you can put a straight face guy with like
Pete Dunne.
The stuff he done with Pete Dunne was
Yeah.
brilliant. Stallion Pete and all that. Like that was brilliant.
Randy, come on, Randy.
Yeah. Like that stuff is
hanging.
that stuff is good.
Yeah.
But it's when he was doing the stuff with the with Seamus and the bike and all that, you just or the scooter or whatever, like you just want to
And he still has the scooter, but it's not as bad.
Yeah, but when he's with Randy and you're gonna have Randy playing the straight faced guy.
I just think it's hilarious the way he says his name. He's like, Randy, come on, Randy. Randy. I think it's funny. John Cohen's done be a long time as well, isn't he?
Is he still there?
Yeah, that's John Cohen there.
You see the one?
Nicholas.
Is Nicholas's dad? Yeah.
Or Nicholas is his son, rather. I said he's Nicholas's.
Yeah, like Nicholas must have been like a baby here.
Yeah. Sure, Nicholas is what? He was 12? 10?
Yeah, so he must have been like 3 or 4 at this point.
Oh, smash
Put it down there, Jack.
Yeah, I'll put it down there.
Put it down.
Yeah. Cameos.
Cameos. Let's go Ziggler. Ah! Ziggler looks like, or he moves like he weighs nothing.
He does, yeah.
Alberto Del Rio, or Alberto of the River, as he's known.
That's Alberto what?
Albert of the River. That's what that means, like.
Really?
Del Rio means river, like.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm sure Rio de Janeiro is.
I suppose,
River, like, yeah.
Didn't put 2 and 2 together on that.
Idiot. Where did you learn Spanish?
I didn't learn Spanish.
I didn't do that.
Oh.
Don't fall.
I thought there was more couch there.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh. A second appearance tonight for her.
What is AJ going down now?
She's with Ziggler, isn't she?
Yeah, this feels strange. This feels like she's turning on Ziggler.
She never did though, did she?
I think she did. Because remember Ziggler side with Caitlyn?
Oh, yeah. This might be it, though. Oh, because she was still a heel at the time, was she? Or
Yeah, he turned face, but
Yeah.
she was the... Our wrestler is the most easily distracted people.
yeah.
Like, his girlfriend's out there. He should just be like, alright, huh, cool. Yeah, because I think at SummerSlam then it was Ziggler and Caitlyn versus Big E and AJ,
Oh, right.
I think. Light it up.
How long are we away from the New Day forming?
2 years.
Really?
Yeah,
2015?
Oh, was it? Yeah, I think it was.
Or did we get that shit New Day for like
2014.
Yeah.
No, it was 2014. 2015.
Yeah, so we're like a year away from the formation of the New Day.
Yeah.
That's mad.
Or am I wrong? Because when it was Big E had those runs as IC champion as well. Or
Yeah, but
was that?
he beat Curtis Axel for that, and Curtis Axel is
That's
champion
that
here.
could be this year, actually.
Yeah.
That might be, that probably this year. Yeah, so I think we're about a year out from the New Day. Because 2015 was when we got their record championship reign.
Oh!
you know what I loved about Ziggler's cash-in actually, and it makes it unique to the other cash-ins, was it wasn't like over in like 30 seconds. They actually made like a little
match out of it. Yeah,
and
it was
like
really
near
cool.
falls for like Del Rio.
Yeah, because Del Rio gets the cross arm breaker, and it's like,
oh shit, yeah.
Yeah,
and
what's great about it is that like it would have been pure Dolph's kind of booking that he would have lost that, and people were so ready for him to win it. That's the thing, like he won it, lost it quick enough, and just never like
he had to vacate it, didn't he?
Did he? Was this not for the world title?
This was, yeah. Anyway, remember he got concussed. Oh no, he got concussed and then he was off telly then for ages. He never actually vacated. He only held it for like a month, and then the next pay per view was Payback.
And that was when they had the double turn.
Yeah. So his first defense, he loses it. It's crazy. Del Rio's had 2 world championship runs and they've both been wank. They've both been absolutely awful. Like, the first one definitely, because the first one he just got awarded the title and he lost it within the same night or something. And the second, and obviously the second one then was kind of due to injury.
Yeah.
Why did he take off his knee pad? What the hell?
Oh, it was a DQ.
That was bullshit. I actually can't remember this now. AJ, you mother.
Why would she do that? That's...
Because she's crazy.
But like...
Look, she's all crazy.
But like, why does she regret it? What do you think was going to happen if you hit him with the...
She lost her temper, Jack. Look at her, she's all upset. Ziggler sold it really well that he's still going for the move.
Yeah,
that
like...
was good, yeah.
It's the little thing. It's the little things. It's the little things. But,
did you see that video that was going around on Twitter recently of him and Adam Cole doing the Stone Cold Steve Austin thing? And
no.
It's AJ doing the Stone Cold impression.
No.
If you close your eyes, it's Stone Cold.
AJ?
AJ Styles, like.
I've heard him go on about Gallows and Anderson doing
no, but it's AJ doing
an Austin impression. Yeah.
And if you close your eyes, it's genuinely you think it's Stone Cold. Like, he does it so well, and it's probably because he has like a southern accent anyway.
Yeah.
But like, it's brilliant. It's so good. He just goes, "What?"
It
sounds so like him.
But did you ever hear Gallows and Anderson's story about that?
Yeah.
When they were on the bus and they're speaking, it's like a 3.5 hour journey, and they speak the whole time. And he turns around eventually, he's like, "None of you two freaking idiots are Stone Cold Steve Austin, okay?" But like they said like what makes it funnier is that he never swears, so he's always like, "You freaking idiots." Right.
What's smoking and nothing around here?
Smoking?
Oh, what?
No.
What?
No. So as we see AJ distraught despite the fact that she did hit Del Rio. Like, she knows the rules of wrestling. What? Ugh. None of you two freaking goofs, Stone Cold Steve Austin, okay?
We are especially proud of our 3-year partnership with the National Guard. This is probably one of the biggest events in NBA. Totally forgot
Yeah.
the guard.
Crazy. National Guard. The US military confuses me. There's so many, like, Teddy DiBiase Jr. What's he up to nowadays?
He's gone to prison.
Is he?
Apparently so, yeah.
Why?
Tax evasion or something like that.
That is very on brand.
Everybody's got a price.
Is that what the hell?
They'll put them in handcuffs and it'll be money.
Well, I love is like if Ted Senior was just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
It's only a gimmick. I'm not actually a millionaire.
Everybody's got a price.
It's actually weird. Aren't they hated in America? Or is that my imagination? Aren't they like Trump's bloody go-to thing? Being like, yeah.
I don't know. I try to stay away from American politics.
What I'm saying, like the whole American politics confuse the or not American politics, they confuse them too, but American
Funaki song.
fan. No, but like I don't know.
I'd go, look at the boys there in the background with the cut off NWO shirts. Bunch of fucking virgins. If I saw a group of lads going to a WWE show with like sleeveless NWO shirts,
yeah.
and like,
well, if we were in Ireland, that is.
Well, that's freezing.
That is questionable.
Yeah.
There we go. Cena and Big Mark. I prefer Mark Henry bald. I don't know about you.
Well, like he's practically bald here. He's hanging on.
That's opposed to the cornrows.
It's one of the best segments in Raw history.
Do you know what's weird though, right? None of us copped onto it. Like, why was Cena there? It was pure random. It made no sense.
It was pure random.
It made absolutely no sense. To give him the title as well, to hold up like a little fucking bitch. Like, hold this title you never won.
But that's the thing. This is something you gotta earn.
Yeah.
I give this back. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Dad is coming home.
It is one of the very few gotcha moments in wrestling.
No one saw it. The fact that he was bawling and crying as well.
Yeah, it was perfectly. It was one of the best acted segments in wrestling history.
And the fact
incredible.
And the fact that it was Mark Henry, and he's a guy who's obviously been around for yonks. So like you could have believed
that he was retiring. You could have believed that was it.
Did you see that picture of everyone on the 4th of July?
Yeah.
Like he's been around since what, 96? 95?
Yeah, signed a 10-year contract.
Douche.
It was the biggest contract in wrestling history for a rookie.
Was that?
At the time, yeah. Like Lesnar beat it when he was signed.
Ah!
Just yeeted.
In the heat. 17 years at this time. So was that 96?
If you look at him now, he's a lot more trim. If you see him recently, he's trimmed down a lot. He's going to wrestle again for AEW. Yeah.
You get one match out of him, like.
He's gone on record to say that he wants to wrestle again.
He doesn't need a lot to get, like, you know what I mean? You don't need to do a lot in a Mark Henry match. As in, like, he doesn't need to do a lot.
No.
Like, he just needs to throw a lot around.
And you need someone who can just bump you.
Yeah. The worst looking WWE Championship, in my opinion.
Worse than the spinner?
The spinner grew on me.
Nah.
It's still weird looking, but I don't like that version. I don't know why. Just that one looks.
Well, that version's very similar to the version they have now.
I know, but the current version I don't mind so much for some reason.
It's because the other logo. But see, I just don't like the whole. There's no uniqueness to the belts now.
No, there's not.
It's terrible.
I really wish they brought.
I know that. He's so good. When Henry was on, he was incredible. I love the tease here.
Yeah.
You can't get him off.
And then he squishes his brain. This is surely a dangerous spot to do.
It is.
Considering how large.
Do you know what? Like, it's only now you look back on
Cena.
and you appreciate how good Cena was.
Yeah.
Like, he's.
But that's why, like, I can't wait for him to be back, because you just know, especially now that he's like meta Cena. Now that he takes the piss out of himself, like.
Yeah.
Mark actually looks good with the title.
He does, yeah. I always felt like they should have given it to him here.
Yeah.
I felt like even if you did it because the whole thing was like Henry's never won it.
Yeah.
Like this
he
is
obviously he won the world title.
but like for someone who was there that long, like like the whole thing was it's now or never for Mark Henry. But like I felt even if he had won it, and even if you did like a Kane Austin King of the Ring 98 where like Cena beats him on Raw the next night, just even for one night, just to say he was the WWE champion. He really deserved it. Like.
He won the best serious faces in wrestling. Look, like you wouldn't fuck with that guy.
No.
But like, did you see? Do you ever watch Adam Blampier's booking on it?
I have. Yeah, I can't remember now.
It was similar to that now, like where he like you do the salmon jacket speech, but he comes out and says he doesn't retire. He says the doc says like I've got 6 months of wrestling left, like and I have to make like. You know, I can either retire now or I can make the most of it now. And like he goes on, like he rebooks the Hall of Pain, and like
I know. Obviously, it was his job to rebook it, but I wouldn't change that.
No, I wouldn't either.
For anything,
I wouldn't either. But he said like what he would do is he would say that like Henry has 6 months left as a competitor, just based on like years of injury backlog, like, and then. You know, he goes out, he wins the title here essentially, and then it becomes desperation, hold on to it for as long as he can, like.
Yeah.
But and it creates like kind of like a cornered animal kind of thing, like.
Yeah.
You know, it was good, but like obviously the way it worked out still was good as well.
I still think Henry should have won here. Even if he won it and he took it to SummerSlam. Seeing a Henry again, because what was Cena's match for SummerSlam this year?
You can't change that.
I suppose. Okay.
Nah, but like if you did what you said there and do the Kane Austin thing, just have him win it the next night, like.
Yeah, like.
But you all be weird if you did that. Cena be on 17 reigns now. Wouldn't that be weird?
Yeah. Yeah, but you could have just disregarded the last one.
Especially considering how shit his 16th reign was.
Do you reckon he'll beat Flair's reign? Do you reckon there's one more title run left in him?
Yeah, I think we're gonna get him and Orton. I reckon. Remember Orton came out and said he wants to get to 16 as well.
And then they'll have.
And then they'll do.
Yeah, but that'll have to be a vacant title.
Then. Yeah. But like.
That would be cool, but you'd need the stars to really align. Like you'd need a champion to get injured.
It would have to happen. Well, see, no. No, you need a vacancy. Yeah. And it needs to happen in the next, like, 2 years. Do you know what I mean? Like.
Well, Orton's saying he's wrestling for the next 10.
I know, yeah, but, like, Cena barely wrestles anymore. Like, you know what I mean? How long till Cena gets to Rock level where his insurance will even clear him to wrestle anymore, like, you know?
Yeah. I always get the impression with Cena, though, that he won't let it get to that level. In terms of wrestling will always be...
his priority, like.
Not his priority.
But like he'll always make time for it, like.
He'll never do what Rock did, where he turned his back on wrestling to get that, like, because The Rock did. The Rock, like, didn't want to be referred to as The Rock.
Yeah, Dwayne Johnson.
For years.
But John Cena, it's hard to say that with John Cena because he like John Cena is his name. You know
but like The Rock never acknowledged that he was a wrestler for years.
Yeah.
Or like never, you know, or when he was asked about wrestling, he'd pawned off, or like, will you ever return? He'd be like, no, you know, like he always says that
he became a businessman.
He always keeps WWE close to the vest.
Yeah, I love how he talks about it too. He's like, I wrestle people in shorts for money.
Yeah, like he's Brad Armstrong.
Yeah, yeah.
Or Scott Armstrong, sorry. Brad Armstrong's his father.
He was fantastic. Yeah, no, I reckon.
For a dead person.
Yeah, no, I think that might be why as well. Cena's kind of transitioned to more of a comedy actor as opposed, you know, like The Rock is still very much action guy.
Yeah.
Whereas like
Cena's best things are comedy.
Cena's just a goof.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I always found The Rock funnier in WWE.
Yeah, I did too. But like, have you ever seen Blockers?
Yeah,
it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
He's brilliant in it.
He's brilliant because he's so big. Yeah, like even the way he dresses is hilarious.
His stupid chino shorts and his check shirt.
Like Emily, like my girlfriend, loves Cena in movies.
Yeah.
Never liked wrestling. Still doesn't like wrestling.
Yeah.
But she always likes the way he acts in movies because it's just hilarious. He's this big jacked man who just goofy dude. Yeah. He's just like a big jacked nerd.
He literally, you know what he's like? He's like the Rock's character in Central Intelligence. Did you watch that?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
That's what he's like.
Yeah, he is.
But I actually, speaking of the Rock's movies, I watched Hobbs and Shaw yesterday for the first time.
Good.
You know what, right? There's some really funny scenes in it where he's literally being the Rock. He's cutting Rock promos on Jason Statham essentially. Like he literally says, "I'm gonna turn that son bitch sideways" and all this kind of stuff. Like,
yeah,
and it's really funny, but like so corny, so like really dumb.
Yeah, but the Fast and Furious isn't
so like Roman Reigns is in it. He doesn't have any lines.
But he is. Yeah,
he delivers a spear and he goes ooh ah. And like they do like a knuckle bump, and it's like, oh, it's so funny. You see actually what Roman Reigns said about Cena and Rock. He goes, if I were them, I wouldn't step in my ring.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh God, please give it to me.
Yeah.
Give it to me now. Oh, I want that so much. And then WWE put up a thing being like the actual WWE Twitter page being like, which match would you rather see, Roman Reigns versus John Cena or Roman?
Probably just a fucking survey, like they want to try and find out
first. Is that which one do I want now? Is which one do I want first?
Shit, I'm gonna pee.
You will do that. Mark in his big arms. Yeah, you miss John Cena now, don't you? You forget how good he actually was. Oh, that was nasty. Because John Cena's a huge guy, and he takes some rough bumps.
John Cena was uncharacteristically tentative when the matchup started. The reason why: Henry cover, can't win the title here. Cena's got a power out, and every time he
Mark Henry is just. He's one of those guys that like he's an all-timer. But you don't think of him straight away, but then when you look back over his career, you realise how fantastic he was.
The world's strongest man is held on one thing, and that's becoming WWE champion. Mark Henry.
Yeah. Oh, that's gonna suck. Mark's leg bent back there. Rough. That's what I do.
Mark, all those 17 years you've been here, I've never seen it more focused. Henry again. Ball to the cover. Is in. Every time Cena, Mark get frustrated here. Every time Cena kicks out, it's pushing Cena to spend more energy.
He's got a mighty beard as well. World's strongest beard.
He's got heart. He's got resilience. He's not a 11-time champion for not having that. Martin realizes he's got to beat Cena down to take the title behind him. And Cena trying to look for some offense for the first time in the matchup tonight.
Cena with a dropkick. Cena's dropkick is one of the worst things I've ever seen. What chance for Eddie? Eddie Guerrero chance. Oh jeez, Mark Henry doing the Cesaro swing. That's mad. What is it, about 1.5 though? Compared to Cesaro's, what, like 14 on Rollins this year at WrestleMania? 16? Oh, sucks. Let's go, Zeno sucks.
defensive move. Mark Henry just launched himself into John Cena.
That's what I do.
John Cena's off his game or out of his game a little bit, that he's playing right into Mark Henry.
There's another Cesaro swing. You missed Mark doing a Cesaro swing.
Really?
Yeah, he did one.
Interesting.
For like two.
Curse me and my small bladder. Yeah, I was only thinking about that. Remember when we went to see Shawn Michaels and I had the mistake of having like 4 or 5 pints before I went, and I pissed the whole way through it.
You missed the majority of it wasn't even worth the price of admission. You missed the majority of the interview. My girlfriend also thought that baby's name was Sonic. She said for a split second. I was like, okay.
So funny.
That's
yeah, here's my baby came. That's gotta be
Kane.
Gotta be Kane.
That's gotta be Kane. That's gotta be Honig. They were the strongest matchup. Missed.
As you said, like, that is a dangerous spot. Like,
yeah, like, he's a giant dude. Joe, like, I always thought it was a dangerous move in wrestling as well. The Banzai Splash. Joe Yokozuna's finisher.
He always looked. He looked after the people he liked.
Yeah.
He would plant his feet first.
Yeah. Do you remember that?
Have you seen the one where he
slits and they crushes the
No, but have you seen the one where like he's done it to jobbers that have like disrespected him or stiffed him in matches?
No.
And he just murders them. Like he comes down on it. Like, that's 600 pounds coming down your chest. Like.
There's one where he does it and slips. Like you can tell he slips.
Oh, I've seen it. Yeah.
And he just crushes your man's chest. I can't remember who it was though. For some reason.
Did you see the one he does to Virgil? No. Virgil does the interview afterwards, and it was like right after his debut, and Virgil didn't even get his name right. He was like, "That Yakazuma." He's like, he's a force. He's Virgil is the gift that keeps on giving. He really is. To see him like giving out there recently on social media that he didn't get a Hall of Fame ring because the NWO were inducted into the Hall of Fame.
You have to be a part of it. He was like lower tier NWO as well.
Oh god.
He was like Buff Bagwell levels of NWO.
Not even. He was the lowest of the low.
Yeah, suplex now, John. Come on now.
Did you see God? Did you watch Godfather on Steve Austin's show on the network?
Watch pieces of it.
And did you see? He said like that he was offered the role of Virgil in the NWO,
really?
but he wanted like 3 times the money that Virgil did, and they gave to Virgil because they were like, "Oh, Virgil will do it for a lot less."
Virgil will do it for anything.
Virgil will do it for a hot dog and handshake.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Virgil will do it for a hot meal.
Yeah.
Squish. You missed actually when you were in the toilet. Cena did a drop kick, so you know it's a big match.
Yeah.
Cena's awful drop kick. I don't know. You build a new well. What do you mean? What well do you go to, JPL?
Now, like, I do get the story that they're trying to tell, but it's just hard to get on board with it when he's lifted much bigger than that. He lifted Big Show and the Edge at the same time.
Khali, which looks so weird when you have 6.
You were out actually when they were doing that Vicky Guerrero thing.
Yeah.
And there was a skit. I've never seen it before up until now. But it was a skit where Khali was like stretching out Vicky, like her back was like sore or whatever. So like he had her like bent over, and Khali had his like leg up on the thing, and Vince walks in. He's like it's just pure Vince's face. Look at him.
Here we go. Got him up. John Cena is up there for the strongest guy in wrestling.
Yeah.
Ever, like. He's up there.
And Henry kicked out.
Like, it's Joe who's freaky. No, like you think John Cena's strong, right? Brock, I say, is twice as strong. I think Brock might be the strongest guy ever in wrestling.
I saw I saw an interview with was a Big Show recently where he didn't say. They asked him about Brock, and he said Brock is like athletic, but he isn't the strongest person. It has to be Henry.
He said, I remember I saw that thing with Big Show as well. He said Kane, and I think he said Kane, Henry, and I think he said one other like big guy.
Like people forget. Have you ever seen that video of Henry with the car?
Yeah, where you like
that is ridiculous. Where he puts his legs on the car and he's able to hold it off and the things in acceleration. Yeah. That is ridiculous. So dangerous.
He could have died. I love the one. I love where he talks about he ripped a quarter in half or something. The crowd wants Henry to win here as well.
Yeah, they do. It was his time, I think.
That's what I do.
But did you ever hear the story about the tour bus as well? And him and Henry, like they're at a European tour on the tour bus, but they can't. They get like he from Henry's perspective, he wakes up on the bus and the bus is stopped.
Yeah.
And they've been delayed for like 2 hours because there's this like truck that's parked in front of him. And they have to get like they have to get like your man to move the truck, and they can't get through to him and whatever. And Henry just gets off the bus and lifts the truck and just throws it to one side so the bus can get past. And he gets back on the bus and he sits next to Regal, and Regal's like, "Don't ever get angry with anyone, Mark." He's like, "You don't know your own strength." He says. He's like, "You will kill someone one of these days."
But yeah, I'm sure his Big Show was on table for 3 or something, and he was talking about he saw Mark Henry rip. Was it like a
quarter and a half?
How the fuck do you do that? Like, how do you like? Cause that'd be hard.
Sure, like he used to go on TV and bend frying pans.
Yeah, it's the crack. Like, that's a classic strongman thing, though. But like, that's obviously
still
insanely difficult.
Or did you hear Ron Simmons' story about the lock, where someone's lock was jammed on the locker room? He just ripped it off. It's mad, like. Just an incredibly strong man.
But like, Joe, the thing is, right? John Cena lifts someone. Like, Johnny lifts like Mark Henry now. Like, he's obviously probably working as well at the same time. But he obviously like struggles. You know what I mean? Like he's like, he gets him up. Whereas Brock just picks people up like they were nothing. He just picks people up.
Well, I think Cena can pick people up that too, but Cena just plays along. Like Brock doesn't sell as much as Cena.
I love when Brock picks up the Big Show and like adjusts him. Like he like fixes him on the shoulders like he's a child.
I actually, it was only yesterday I was listening to what happened with Tony Schiavone, and Conrad says on it, they're on with Mark Henry debuting on Double or Nothing, and Conrad says like it's a surreal thing when you get into the room with Mark Henry because you realise what happens next is really up to him. Yeah. like if he wants to do something with you, he can do it. Like it's really up to him.
It's like, sure, Joe Rogan had a comedy thing
about Brock Lesnar,
He's like, that man
Brock Smash!
He's like, Brock, he's a shaved gorilla, like, he can do whatever he wants to you. You can't stop it.
The joke was like, if he wanted to fuck you
in the ass, he would.
Yeah.
He could, and
he's like, my fear is that he'd use me as a condom to fuck something bigger.
Thing is, they're all lovely men, though.
You can wake up in the back of his truck and be like, "Why are we at the zoo?" Shut up, Brock making decisions.
Brock making decisions.
But it really is like these men, like what happens next is up to them. Like,
you see,
they had him tap. I forgot they had him tap.
Yeah.
That's worse.
Yeah, it's worse. They could have had him pass out, like.
Yeah, give him because they did it with like Ryback. Didn't they?
I don't know. Can't remember. I think Ryback tapped. This is the period.
Oh no, they no. They didn't do what they did with Ryback is they gave him the Hogan kick out at 3.1. Yeah. Like, what? He got it. So stupid. Just lay down the mat for another second, you big goose.
I love seeing his bloody faces where he's like,
get ready to fight again.
I love where he's like, I love seeing his face where like Joe hits him with like an A or like Joe like a mega A and they kick out and he's like,
yeah. Like say what you want about say what you want about Mark Henry and how great he was in this shoot because he really was. But Cena made him look like a monster here.
Yeah,
he was
the fear in his eyes when like he's in the ring.
Yeah,
knowing like this guy
incredible
could kill me. That's the thing, like you take for granted how great Cena was.
Yeah,
because
at the time you didn't realise.
At the time you just couldn't stand him. That's what happened.
Is it just the main event we have next?
I think so, yeah. Unless there's like a filler match before.
Cena's face. Cena's so funny, man.
His facial expressions are brilliant. But yeah. Did you see Braun Strowman recently went to like some zoo and like
Braun make decisions.
No, but like I'm starting to realise that Braun is such a like Republican. You know what I mean? Like he's such a Southerner. You know what I mean? Like proper like
gun.
I know he was a gun. I knew he liked his guns. I knew that because he's always putting up stuff about shooting and all the guns he owns and stuff. But he went to this zoo, and it's really rubbing the wrong way. Pretty much because I'm a zoologist, but because I don't, animal activist, all that correct. But he like he's in the zoo anyway, and like he's picking up this tiger cub and like snuggling it, and he's like holding a tiger and all this kind of stuff. Like
it wasn't in the Joe Exotic.
No, I don't think so. But like it was a place very similar to it. And,
yeah.
like a lot of people don't know is like those animals are drugged to be to be docile, like, and like he's with this elephant and like he's like on top.
Is that it? I saw the video of the elephant like throwing up into the air. Which still, whether the animal was drugged or not, is pretty fucking impressive when you can do that to Braun Strowman.
But like, I was just like, oh, Braun, why? What? I was like, Braun, you dummy.
It's mad here when you look at like, they're basically relegating Kofi Kingston to like this analyst. And this is well before he becomes WWE champion. Like this is
just before he even becomes the New Day Kofi.
Yeah, like the New Day really rejuvenated his career.
It rejuvenated his career, and it gave Woods and Big E a new platform.
Yeah.
It gave. It's mad though, looking at like what the New Day was originally. You know, when we look at like it was meant to be like Woods as a manager and Kingston and Big E as a tag team, and you know they were going to be like this preacher gimmick or whatever they were.
They're really hyped for RVD here.
Yeah, it's very, what was it, 7 years?
2007, 2006.
So. Actually, it's 8 years today since the Wyatt family debuted.
When they attacked Kane.
Kane, yeah.
Was it this SummerSlam?
Yeah.
It wasn't the Inferno match, it was the
Ring of Fire.
Ring of Fire. It's the last one. They haven't done one since, have they?
Yeah.
That was a strange concept.
Well. This is when his promos actually made sense as well. This is where he went all rambly.
Yeah. Man, it's mad. It's mad that Harper is gone, isn't it? When you watch this now, like you're talking 7 years ago, you wouldn't expect to see anyone on this show that.
Sure. Speaking of
wrestling, who has passed away.
We were talking at the start of the card. We were on about how. When we were talking about how, like, you know, how much has happened during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Like his entire AEW run was in the pandemic.
Yeah. And that was one thing, and I was surprised they never mentioned it in terms of when they were leaving Daly's place and stuff like that. His entire run was in Daly's place. He debuted in Daly's place. His last match was in Daly's place, and his tribute to his death was in Daly's place. It's pretty surreal.
Did you watch?
I'm still kind of in shock with that. Like
it's crazy.
And it was weird. I woke up at like 6 a.m. and I never wake up at 6 a.m. But like, I woke up at 6 a.m. Like it was the Stevens Day or was it the day after Stevens Day?
Yeah.
So it was like the 27th of December.
Something like that, yeah.
And I just woke up and just checked my phone for a quick second. I was like, holy fuck. It was madness. But anyway, what were you asking me?
Did you see, it was AEW's last show, it was last week's Dynamite.
Yeah.
Did you see the compilation video at the end for their whole...
For the whole thing in Dave's Best?
Yeah.
I saw a
and
bit
none
of
of
it.
it was Brody.
Oh really? Okay, so I'm wrong. So what I said about I thought they didn't acknowledge it, but they obviously did. Okay, I was wrong.
They did a full compilation of like everything that happened in Dave's Best, but a lot of it was Brody centric.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
It's mad. Here he is.
Mr. Van Damme.
Recent WWE Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Gifted Vince a pack of rolling pins. I watched I remember when I was younger and like, you know, when I was first got into first became a wrestling fan and stuff, like obviously Rob Van Dam was in WWE and he was kind of like no, obviously he's one of these guys who's like always over. Do you know what I mean? Everyone loves Rob Van Dam. And someone tried to tell me in my karate club that he was genuinely Jean-Claude Van Damme's cousin. And that's
that was the whole thing. Like that was because he does look like Jean-Claude Van Damme.
There's similar enough looking.
That's why he was named Rob Van Dam.
Yeah.
Like he was. But like if you look at it, they're not spelled the same.
No, I know. But like I also was like, yeah, believe it.
Battle Creek, Michigan. Did you watch his Icons documentary on the network? It's really good.
Yeah.
I'd recommend it. See, they cancelled the Luger one.
Did they?
Yeah, for whatever reason. I think they fired half the staff that were working on it recently. So
I thought, because I saw they were advertising it recently enough.
yeah, and they cancelled it this week.
It's weird. Poor Luger. He's a guy you feel sorry for.
He's the guy you feel sorry for now.
Looking at the condition he's in now, right?
Yeah, but like he was a real asshole back in the time. But I think, but like if you see, it's very like Shawn Michaels in the sense that like people who dealt with, like Eric Bischoff's the example that like Eric Bischoff says like, oh, he was an asshole to deal with when he was wrestling, but like Bischoff and him are really good friends now. He says like that like he's a completely different person now, and I think a lot of that had to do with Elizabeth's death and you know the you know like that he got clean then from that and stuff like that. It's just a lot of that probably obviously changes you as a person.
Yeah, definitely. And like with just age as well, like and maturity.
Well, yeah.
And the fact that, like, you know, when you're a guy who looks like Luger and has the success of Luger and you know, you're obviously like he kind of lived the whole gimmick of the narcissist, like, do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
This is mad. This is like the beginning
this
of the
is the start of it.
Shocking.
What a
crack.
What a crazy time that was, the S movement. Like,
yeah. Look at Christian and RVD just having a chat in the middle of the
yeah. Hey, how you doing?
How you been? I haven't seen you since like 2006.
Yeah.
What's mad?
And that's another thing like we haven't really talked about in terms of when crowds up and back up. Like, what's Daniel Bryan going to be doing?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Where is he going to end up? Is he going to come back? Do you think, or I don't know.
I think the money there for him is to come back.
Yeah. I wouldn't go to AEW.
But Bryan is one of these people where it's not about the money for him. I could genuinely see him back at Ring of Honor. I really could. I could see him wrestle Japan, wrestle Ring of Honor. I said this at the time when the news first broke, when his contract was up. I think he'll do like a year on the Indies. Yeah. Maybe wrestle once or twice in AEW and then finish in WWE another year, and that's it then.
Yeah, see it. I would like it.
Going to the Hall of Fame then, you know.
I don't know. I mean, wherever he goes anyway, it's gonna be must-see television wherever he goes anyway. Definitely Burke.
Did you watch his interview with Austin on the network?
I saw clips of it now again. Like, I don't even like.
Really good.
It was on really late, so just like.
Yeah, but you can just. It's on demand. Like you know how the network works.
Wait, what?
Yeah. It's like Family Guy when Quagmire discovers porn. What?
So there's Tinder.
Yeah.
See, Drew McIntyre said actually he's working on getting broken. He's still working on getting Broken Dreams back.
Yeah.
He said he's fairly sure they own the rights to it.
They should do, yeah.
But like,
no, they do because it's on their Spotify account. But was the Alter Bridge sang that song?
Alter Bridge sang it, yeah.
You talk about ultimate interviews for us on this podcast. I'd love to have
Seamus.
Well, speaking of ultimate interviews, this is the guy.
Come on, Jack.
But like realism, maybe Seamus.
Yeah. Realistically, wouldn't you love to just hear that song one more time in front of a crowd? Speaking of things that we might have planned for crowds.
No way. Don't.
See,
I thought you were going to say there, speaking of things that we might have planned for interviews.
Oh, no, just drop that there.
No. No, I thought you meant I thought you were going to tail it back to there's a certain
cult of personality.
No. There's a certain recently released Irish wrestler.
Yeah. we'll leave it at that. Did you see what do you call them? SmackDown got announced from Madison Square Garden in next
I did. Yeah, did you see it was announced for the festival?
No.
There was some festival in America and they've announced SmackDown's going to come live from it.
Oh really? Like download, like for anything?
Kind of like no, but it's going to be one of the acts on stage. I don't know how it's going to work.
That's going to be weird.
But SmackDown is coming live on stage, but like, it's only going to be 2 matches.
Like an actual, it's surely like kind of like a house show.
No, it's SmackDown.
Like
it's live, it's televised SmackDown.
No.
But it's 2 matches. I swear to God, it's on a Friday night, like.
That's weird. That's a shock.
Looks like an AC/DC shirt.
It does, yeah, but it's not like it's a punk shirt, but it's
yeah. But it's probably just
like,
it's just in kind of it's a parody of the AC/DC.
Oh, best in the world.
AC/DC, Vince McMahon's favourite band in the world.
There
See, he was recently at a Dave Chappelle show.
I saw that.
That's hilarious.
He looks so sweaty.
That's just hilarious.
I love his casual wear as well.
Like, what about Dave Chappelle does Vince McMahon find funny, I wonder?
I don't even find Dave Chappelle funny.
I do. I think he's very good. Yeah, I think he's very. I've watched. Emily doesn't like him either. I've watched him with Emily, and Emily thinks he's very.
His old stuff is better.
His old stuff is better. I think Emily agrees. I think it's funny, but Emily thinks he's very divisive in his like racial stuff. You know what I mean?
Like he's very pro-black.
Yeah, in terms of
like to the point where he's nearly anti-white kind of thing.
Yeah. Rather than like in being inclusive and it's very Malcolm X type thing.
I know what you mean. But I mean, like I understand.
I do. I really like him. I think
he's
very funny.
He's an activist as well. Like, and I understand what he's like. I don't look. That's what he wants to preach. That's him. But like, I just don't find his comedy good. I just think it's very. His comedy doesn't feel like comedy anymore. It feels just like opinions. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it feels like it feels like a podcast on stage.
Yeah. That's entertaining too, though. That's. Yeah, I'm interested as to what he has to say.
I want funny man to be funny.
Well, yeah, I went to a comedy show once. Do you know? I don't want to say his name because I don't. Yeah, I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to disparage. It wasn't a good comedy show.
Okay.
He got very. Not very political.
Was he
but
Irish
very
or English or what?
American,
American,
but he never made it in America.
Shit, it is.
That's cool.
Actually, I don't know if you saw, but Adam Blompia's recent booking thing was the Embrace the Hate storyline.
Yeah, I didn't watch it, but I saw that.
I watched it, and he talks about, like, you know, the whole thing was meant to be about John Cena having a really bad year in 2012.
Yeah.
And he talks about, like, you know, at No Way Out 2012 he faced, at Over the Limit 2012 he faces John Laurinaitis in the main event. And, you know, I won't get into the whole thing, like, but, like, when he gets to that match and he goes, I would just leave Cena off that card and he wouldn't have the John Laurinaitis match take place at all.
Yeah.
But then I don't know what to put in the main event. I mean, there's nothing else on that show that could main event. I mean, you had Punk and Bryan for the WWE Championship, but that would never do.
yeah.
That would never serve as a main event. But anyway, so you went to a comic.
Oh yeah, I went to a comic, an American comic who never made it in America. He's more on the European scene. He's big enough in the European scene. I'll tell you who it is off here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it turned very sour very quickly.
As in, like, opinion, like, sour.
Opinion. He then, like, after about 15 minutes, brought out a bottle of vodka that he was just drinking from the bottle, like a 70cl that he was drinking from the bottle. So then things started getting worse.
Right.
And he was talking about some stuff, like, it was just just things that he was talking about a friend that he had that was raped, and it was just none of it was
not
funny.
Yeah.
And then he was saying that, like, the girl that was raped, his friend, never called the police, and he was like, she just should have just fucking called the police. Nothing about, like, how, you know, the victim was scared. Right? Like, it was really, it was in the opera house. It was like, sitting there, I with my dad. It was like 7. It was the day my leaving cert ended, finished. Yeah. So I was like,
you were
18
trying to relax.
In my dad, I was trying, and like, you're just hearing this. And then someone had a seizure halfway through. That they call in the ambulance. Someone in the crowd had a seizure, and then they call the ambulance.
Intense affair, so.
It was so intense. It was, but like comedians have a fine line when they get opinionated and political, or go off what their material is supposed to be.
I also think observational comedy is better than, like.
Yeah.
Or, like, opinions. Do you know what I mean? Like, because someone's opinion is always divisive. Whereas if you make an observation, that's kind of...
I do like Dave Chappelle. I think he's... Yeah, he's not everyone's cup of tea. I do like him. Oh, here we go.
Ow. Like, Joe Rogan's gone on record and said that he thinks he's the greatest comic of all time, which I'm like...
I nearly would agree.
Nah, not hope.
Who would you consider the greatest comic
of all time? I think, well, see, it's hard, right? Because I think American comics and European comics are vastly different. I think they're very different styles of comedy. From an American standpoint,
we can tell how interested we are in this match by having this comic.
I know it's the main event. I know, yeah. But, like, how do we even get onto this? But from a main, we were talking about Vince and you mentioned Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
But from an American standpoint, like, I'm gonna sound like such a hipster, but, like, I always loved Richard Pryor. I thought Richard Pryor from back in the day, like, was always hilarious. Eddie Murphy.
Okay, granddad.
Come on, go back inside.
Yeah.
Go for your nap. I thought Eddie Murphy as well was
Eddie Murphy is
hilarious.
Delirious is one of the best comedy sets I've ever seen. Well, Raw is very good too. I think Delirious is better.
Yeah.
I think when he's a lot of the stuff you could not get away with.
No,
stuff with Mr. T.
Yeah. You can't forget about that now.
But it's brilliant.
I love Eddie Murphy. I'm trying to think of like, I know he divides a lot of opinion now, but I actually think Kevin Hart's comedy is actually hilarious. I think when he's doing stand up, his movies now can be quite repetitive, but when he's doing stand up,
funny and stand up.
When he's doing stand up, I think it's brilliant. I think his last concert now, I will say, wasn't good. I didn't like his last concert.
I don't think I saw that.
He had a run there of about 3 or 4 in a row where they were genuinely quite funny. Like,
I think
you know the ones, you've seen the jokes. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
You
Obviously,
know the ones.
about the you're gonna learn today. You know.
Yeah. And the teacher, like, you know, she told me to
yeah.
And like all that stuff. And then from, that's a tumble.
Oh, Seamus.
Poor Seamus.
He's taking some bumps and stuff.
I love it, and he does, and it's because he's so pale that like every single imprint is visible.
It's cool. It's different.
Yeah. And then from a European standpoint, I know, just from an Irish standpoint, Tommy Tiernan is just all time for me. I think
I've grown more on Tommy Tiernan. I used to like him. I think it's justified in the sense that I think he's developed better as a comic.
Yeah.
I think obviously he had a lot of controversy. He used to like acts, I don't know if you remember, but he used to do acts where he used to like make fun of like Down syndrome people and stuff like that. Like, and it obviously was not funny whatsoever. But like he's getting, I think obviously this is very, very Irish, and the people who are not from Ireland listening to this wouldn't know, but like I think his talk show on RT has helped a lot with that. Yeah. It's helped a lot with people understanding the person that he is, and like
I think he's developed. I know what you're talking about. That like he does do very controversial bits.
Yeah.
But I think he's developed it in a way where you can tell those jokes in a way that he doesn't mean them. If you get me, like.
Yeah. My favorite joke, Tommy Tiernan, is about the African priest. Yeah. Like, Zebedee, come down from the tree. Yeah.
I love the one he tells about the hospital and the travellers in the hospital.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Look it up when you have a chance, because it is quite funny. I love Darryl Breen.
Darryl Breen's a good comic.
I love Darryl Breen, because Darryl Breen, his mind is very much like my own. I feel like he's very. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
I like John Bishop as well. John Bishop is funny.
Is he an improv lad?
Yeah, we had tickets to go see John Bishop, but it was cancelled over COVID. But those tickets are apparently still valid. But
if he ever does,
but like then he apparently got really sick over it because of COVID.
Yeah, so. He's quite funny, and I actually like him as a person as well. He does a lot of good charity work and stuff. Who else is good? Lee Evans, when he was on top of his game, was class.
Yeah.
Michael McIntyre before he went Hollywood was class.
Nah,
he was good at the start, and then he went pure Graham Norton, like
pure James Corden type.
Yeah. Lee Evans is a shame, because Lee Evans, in my opinion, at one point was the best comedian in the world, and then he retired like really early in his prime life, and like watch Big, and I think he's one show called Big and one show called. What's it called? Wet or Water or something like that.
Yeah.
And they're hilarious, absolutely hilarious. I didn't really like his early stuff, but when he kind of matured a bit, it was very good. The classic spot of all 6 guys on the ladders.
But look at RVD. Look, RVD's hanging off the. It's not a third ladder, like he's just hanging off the side.
I don't know. Did you notice? Did you see the spot where?
I do like that where he didn't. He realized he wasn't going to get it, so he just fucked the thing away. That's.
You see where like RVD lifts like he gorilla presses Christian.
Yeah.
Like the fuck is RVD doing that?
But,
Randy Burton.
But yeah, it's an interesting one. Like
my favourite comic's Dolph Ziggler. Now that's a joke.
I like Rogan's comedy.
I do too. I think Joey Diaz's comedy is quite good.
See, I haven't watched much of Joey Diaz's comedy. I only watch him on Rogan.
All his comedy is like storytelling. He just tells stories because he's had such a mental life.
He has the most insane life I've ever seen.
Have you ever watched? It was Ari Shaffir's series on Comedy Central.
Yeah, it's all storytelling. Yeah. This is not happening.
This is not happening. That's what it's called. Yeah. Brilliant series, and some fantastic stories on it. Theo Vaughn, you know Theo Vaughn?
Yeah.
He tells the one on it of the day he decided to give up cocaine, and it's a brilliant story. But But there's Joey Diaz has like 4. He has like 4 episodes where he does 4 stories, and they're genuinely 4.
I think I've seen one or two of them. Yeah, I've seen Rogan's one about the hotel.
Yeah, and that actually wasn't that great.
Yeah.
Like, there was definitely better ones.
I saw Brendan Schaub's one about when he lost to Travis Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that one. It was like, they brought my ex-girlfriend out. I didn't realise she was fucking the guy I was fighting.
Little did we know he was referring to Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, he was, yeah. Oh, he's like Leonardo DiCaprio was in the front row.
Yeah.
Oh.
He looked rough. Sheamus is actually one of the most underrated wrestlers in history.
Yes, and we're not saying that because we're Irish.
No, he genuinely is. He's one of the most accomplished wrestlers on the roster.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? 4-time world champion, 5-time tag champion, 3-time US champion.
Yeah.
Money in the Bank winner, Royal Rumble winner, King of the Ring winner. Like, that's insane.
Oh, I was going to pee again.
Yeah, of course he did. This is Sheamus hitting the 10 beats the Bowron, or as Michael Cole likes to call it, the Bowron. Michael Cole's clearly never heard of the fella. Sheamus has it. Sheamus is going to get it. And here comes Punk. Oh. It's very, I love how in wrestling, like, it takes someone a million years to do a simple task of unhooking something. You know, CM Punk's had a lot of looks in his day, but this was definitely my least favourite. Mutton Shot Punk. Never liked Mutton Shot Punk. I like full bearded Punk. Crazy the only thing about like Punk literally only had less than a year left in WWE at this point. Like, this is July. I'm saying there's the man who looked back there that like Punk had less than a year in WWE at this point.
Yeah.
Like, this is July.
And the next Royal Rumble he goes, and it's
6 months left in the company. Ow. I'm saying as well, like, Punk's had a lot of looks in his day.
Well,
Mutton Shot Punk is always my least favourite.
He looks like a character in Red Dead.
He looks like a bad cosplay of Wolverine.
Yeah, someone who half-arsed it for Halloween, like.
Yeah. Grew out the facial hair and then couldn't find the costume.
The claws were so hard to find.
They were so expensive. Oh, good man, Randy. Oh, I love Randy Orton. I've come over the last year. I've developed a new appreciation for Randy Orton.
He's so good.
He's so good.
Rest hold Randy, but he's
I know, but like when he's motivated,
he's so natural. Like,
to be fair, he's been very good the last. There's been rarely a step wrong for him the last year.
Through this pandemic era, he's been fantastic.
Yeah,
you can't fault him. He's done some of his best work in the pandemic era.
Yeah,
he's been
absolutely.
brilliant.
You know, if you could build a wrestler from the ground up, you look at Randy Orton. Some say.
You tell me that, Maggle.
Maggle.
It is true though.
Like, oh my god, do you ever see like there's like this Twitter page and it's like wrestling matchups and it'll be like, you know, Hulk Hogan and it'll be like Hulk Hogan, Joe Rogan mashup. Like there's one, it was Maggle Swole and it was Big Swole Michael Cole and it was the most taunting thing I've ever seen.
Maggle
Swole. Christian Cage. Another man who hasn't really aged at all in the last couple of years.
He's actually in better shape now than he was there.
He's mixing it up in the mid-card in AEW. Grossly misused.
Outwork everyone. Yeah. He has to outwork everyone. Terms and conditions apply.
Outwork most people. Outwork someone.
Yeah. Outwork everyone who isn't ranked in AEW.
Yeah. Isn't the Hardy family office the most random stable of people we've ever seen?
God.
Matt Hardy, Private Party, The Blade, and The Butcher. What the fuck?
But the Matt Hardy family office is just a random name.
You used to have fucking... What's the shit? King Maxwell working the desk, is it? On reception. Rebby's on security.
Rebby's in HR.
The most insane HR department in the world.
Oh god.
We want tables. Clap, clap, clappity clap.
Jeff doing drug testing in the office then.
No, the best faction in AEW is the Wingmen. Have you seen that faction?
No.
It's like
There's so many factions.
They're basically exclusively on Dark. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I'd imagine so.
It's Peter Avalon.
Oh fuck them.
Peter Avalon.
I've seen it, yeah.
Cesar Bononi, JD Drake, and Ryan Nemeth.
I will not get on board with anything Peter Avalon does.
You really don't like that guy?
Not at all.
Why not?
What is there to like about him? Seriously.
RVD. Class.
What is there to like about him?
Go Peter Avalon.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
I'm not that gonna defend him, I don't.
He was the guy who was friends with the Young Bucks and got a job out of it.
Yeah, that's the thing, like.
Not good in any aspect.
Is it an RVD match?
I love when he does these high frog splash jumps where he just doesn't commit to doing the. He just falls. Did you ever see? Did you ever see the Elimination Chamber frog splash where he knees Triple H to the throat?
He breaks his fucking
windpipe or whatever. He couldn't speak.
Yeah, based on throws and convulsing, and he has to like win the match. He has to go on and win the match.
No, it's Michaels wins it.
But
he
has to make
he has to go through all
the
the. He can't communicate. He can't speak. Go on, what you saying?
Who do you think had a better frog splash, RVD or Eddie Guerrero?
Come on now.
I mean, come on now. That's a genuine question.
Come on now.
What are you saying? Come on now. That's a hard question.
No, it's not. It's Eddie Guerrero.
RVD is good.
It was good, but like that, Eddie would have done the coming off that, not the flappy flap. I'm gonna fall on top.
Come on now. Take into account as well, RVD is like in his 40s here as well. Like
that's not fair because Eddie didn't get to his 40s. So.
And he was 38 when he died.
Yeah, so like you can't judge that. I guarantee you, if Eddie got to his 40s, he would have done that too.
Yeah. I always liked RVD's one though. It just it was different. Do you know what I mean? It was the 5-star flash.
Yeah, it was. But I still prefer Eddie's.
I probably prefer Eddie's too, but I'm saying.
Then why are you
it's just a genuine question.
I like RVD.
You might have liked RVD's better.
I like RVD's one, but I just.
Jesus Christ! No wonder he cashed in on you, you prick. It's actually a miracle that Daniel Bryan's neck didn't give up on him sooner. Do you know what I mean? Do you ever see the way he just runs into the turnbuckle and just rams himself into it?
Yeah. He doesn't do that now.
Well, yeah, for good reason. Excuse me. It's burping from me. Do you remember when Daniel Bryan debuted back in, after the Nexus where he was a face and Michael Cole was like his number one hater,
yeah.
And now
about him being a vegan, it was literally what Vince was telling.
Yeah. He doesn't eat meat. How could he be cool?
Yeah.
And now he's like, whenever he's on screen, like Michael Cole
trying to overcompensate.
You know he's trying to get he's trying to love on someone when he calls them by their first name. Joe, like when John Cena.
Daniel.
Yeah, Joe and John Cena's he's like, "Come on, John! Yeah. Come on, John!" What the flip is this about?
This is where he turns on Punk.
Oh yeah, but
because Heyman comes out.
You
see the ladder set up. Yeah.
Sneaky how Randy did that. We never noticed.
What?
Randy Orton set that up there. We never even knew.
Ah.
I don't understand why Curtis Axel's out here with his weird, weak-ass looking finisher.
Cause at the time Punk was still a Heyman guy.
Yeah.
So he's a Heyman guy as well.
Yeah.
So Heyman's gonna come out now and make it look like he's trying to get Punk to win.
Oh yeah, and Punk's turning face.
Yeah.
Punk's in the middle of turning face. Because he's like, this is obviously a post-taker and he came back at payback.
Oh.
Yeah, Punk didn't like that, so. Because that was the thing, that was how they started, like the Punk face turn, that like Heyman brought in Axel and Punk was like, I don't like him. CM Punk. God, is it the thing you want most in wrestling?
Yeah.
It actually
I want to see him wrestle again. Heyman's so good.
I love Heyman so much. I love how over the top he is. Like, everyone should be going in their head now, but he's absolutely turning on him right now.
Yeah, but you still don't
You
believe
still don't
it.
believe it.
That's the guy I want to win.
Why the hell would you do that? That is.
If any other manager came out these days and did that, you'd be like, what a fucking hokey prick. But like,
nah, Heyman's like the last of like the old guard or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like.
because that's what he grew up on. He grew up
Yeah.
with Freddie Blassie, Lou Albano.
Bobby Heenan.
Yeah. His position in the ladder. This is brilliant.
I told you that story about my mum and Lou Albano, didn't I?
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, that she was in a bar and drank with him at a charity event all night in New York. All the people. So we were watching Dark Side of the Ring and Lou Albano was on. And she was like, hey, I know him. I was like, what? She was like, yeah, Captain Lou.
Captain Lou.
I was like, what the
Known by first name.
You know him by rank?
No, he was Lieutenant Lou by then.
He was like Private Lou when I met him.
Yeah. Here it is.
Howie. Which would then
He
give
splits
us...
them open here as well.
Does he?
Yeah. I think it's the third time he does it, yeah.
Which this would then give us one of the best matches, if not the best match of the year.
Yeah.
Punk had such a great 2013.
Yeah. I didn't want to be there for any of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he splits them here, yeah.
That would do it alright.
Yeah, see
Yeah. Yeah, because you get the Brock feud, and then it transitions into the Ryback feud,
Yeah.
which was not good.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Paul Heyman proposed to Ryback? Do you remember that segment?
Yeah.
Ryback, you big beautiful man, you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be able to choose soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on. I know.
Thanks for coming on, Brezzy. Today's guest, Brezzy the Westie.
Here's the end of it. Here's the finish of it.
Weird as well, because Orton was a face at the time.
Yeah, it's pretty heelish. Well, he ends up being heel, but
Yeah, which leads to the birth of the Authority, which leads to the birth of the best story WWE have told in the last 20 years.
I didn't even want to tell it.
Yeah. I was saying so when you were on to the toilet, like, isn't it hilarious how long it takes wrestlers to do anything?
Yeah.
Like, the simplest of tasks. I remember being pretty pleased with that result as well.
Really?
Yeah, I liked Randy winning it, yeah.
I think everyone wanted Brian to win, no?
Yeah, everyone did, but I don't think anyone actually believed it. Plus, Brian ended up getting the WWE title match in SummerSlam anyway. Not that we all knew that was going to happen, but...
Yeah. I select Daniel Bryan. See this promo for that.
Do you remember the promo? It was this year. Was it this year? Or was it the year after? No, it was this year. It was for TLC. And do you remember they did the unification with Cena and Orton in the TLC match for
it was this year, yeah.
Yeah, and do you remember they did Punk Fizzin' when they did like the championship summit where they had like Punk or Cena and Orton and then a load of former world champions.
Yeah,
and Daniel Bryan was one of them,
and
the whole
place went nuts for him. Yeah,
hijack thing.
That's a fantastic segment as well.
And it was a big show, or Mark
Henry lifted his hand. Yeah, but then it ends up with like them all like brawling one on one.
Yeah,
that's really
really
good.
It was a Punk and Triple H got into it, and they like proper leathered each other. Yeah, and then
Shawn Michaels super kicks Punk, and then Brian knees Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, that was class.
And then it was class, and then it ended with Stephanie being knocked over, and Triple H pedigreed Orton.
Yeah, and that was class because Orton was in the Authority as well at the time.
Yeah, so good.
It was sad, Punk. CM sad. Vintage. Can someone say Randy Orton without saying the word vintage, please?
Someone, that being Michael Cole.
Yeah. When I'm talking with someone, I'm referring to the one Maggle.
Well, there it is.
That's only like 2013. 2013.
Yeah, that actually went by quicker than I thought it would.
Yeah, it was good card.
Yeah, it was
no real bad matches, like.
No. No. All matches were decent, fairly good. Yeah.
Good to very good.
Yeah, it was a good pay for you to go back and watch. Yeah. Gets my stamp of approval.
Run it. So that was that in anticipation for Money in the Bank 2021, which will be taking place next week, Sunday, July 18th.
Yes.
Mark your calendars. The card looks decent enough, to be fair. It looks quite good. We haven't gotten all the people in the ladder matches yet. We're short 2 on both men and women's sides.
Yeah.
So we'll probably find out tomorrow on SmackDown. We don't know who the 2 are going to be in the women's, but we know there's going to be 2 matches on SmackDown tomorrow to decide the last 2. One's Cesaro versus Seth Rollins, and one's Baron Corbin versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah.
So 2 of those 4 guys will be in the match as well. We don't know who the last 2 women's participants are yet, but we'll probably know by tomorrow. But yeah, other than that, it looks like a good card. And we will be here next week to record and predict it, with a very special guest who will leave up till next week. We won't reveal yet, but as we said, former guest, friend of the show.
Fingers crossed anyway that comes to fruition. But
we found out that like sometimes life gets in the way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, it's been.
This has got to be one of our longer episodes.
It is, yeah, but it's been fun to kind of get back in terms of getting back in person and do these watch-alongs and stuff, like, because it's a lot easier to do these shows when the dynamic is a lot better when you're in person. So
yeah,
it's when we've referred to it a lot when you're on kind of Skype or Zoom or whatever, you don't know when the next person's gonna speak, and you're interrupting each other, and
you can't work off it's cues you can't.
It's more of a natural flow when you're together.
Definitely.
So hopefully there'll be a lot more of that, and hopefully
we'll have to figure out now how we do next week's episode.
Yeah, we'll have to sit there and talk about that.
Yeah.
Maybe it might be just a matter of doing it, just going back to remote and figuring it out then afterwards.
Yeah.
Possibly. More than likely, but we have to talk about it. But now we're 3 hours 10 minutes in, so that is a marathon.
Bloody odyssey.
Welcome to the Joe Rogan experience.
I know, yeah. You might want to watch this one in segments.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's been us. That's been the return of.
It's gonna be a fun podcast to upload.
Yeah. Christ, yeah.
So,
yeah, Jesus. So yeah, that's been us from Just Because Wrestling.
Follow us at JB Wrestling 1998. And
yes, correct.
yeah, I'm getting better at it.
Yeah.
And any queries, jbwrestling50@gmail.com. The first handle I gave was Twitter.
Yeah.
Just Because Wrestling on YouTube and Instagram. And yeah, thanks for listening, thanks for following. And yeah, if you've managed to listen to after 3 hours and 10 minutes, we really salute you.
Yeah. Fair play to you.
Yeah, so
tune
in next week for our Money in the Bank preview. Looking forward, and hopefully we'll have our guest, which we'll reveal then.
Yeah.
So
stay tuned for that.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.